thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Howdy, everyone. We're back for episode 430 of the Massenomics podcast, the lifting podcast about nothing, recorded live from South Dakota. My name is Tanner.
And my name is Tommy.
And Tommy, we just dropped our new drop. It went out today.
There has been big things happening over at Massenomics.
You wanted slides and you hadn't ordered them yet, you are screwed.
Are they all actually gone?
I think as we record, there's one pair left right now, so I wouldn't be surprised if that is gone by the time
by the time
we finish recording.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, by the time this comes out, they'll definitely be gone. And then even the new tees, not a ton of inventory. We sold a lot of those new tees, so you can check that out. Possibly if you're listening to this, there should be some around still. We had, of course, we revealed the unpaid and underrated collaboration drop tee. What's red called when it's just solid red? What do you call red? Is it
just red?
Yeah, it's just red. It's not like royal
not
blue.
Heather.
Yeah.
I guess maybe royal red's a color I'm not familiar with.
Is royal red? Yeah,
maybe like cardinal red, maybe, but that's I think darker than just red.
Okay, so it is just red.
It's just
solid
red, man. It's red,
and it's got the
unpaid,
you and you.
You and you monogram on the left chest and the unpaid and underrated
on the back.
Full breakdown on the back.
And then, of course, we had the lifting department tee that is on our oversized 100% cotton tee that is the chef's kiss for sure on that one. So you could maybe check out both of those tees still if there's a little bit left. Maybe you can luck out and there's something available in your size on those two.
Man, the drop, though, that's... I'm wearing
it was really, really well received, and we love it when that happens. It makes for a fun day at Massenomics. In the Massenomics headquarters scene, we're excited when it's a day like the drop was today.
Yeah,
I would say that.
A lot of orders coming through.
Yeah, makes it fun. It makes it's not everything has to be bought by everyone, of course, but it does make Massenomics a little more fun when we make something and people are excited about getting it. And today was one of those days.
We've said it before. It is a lot of work getting these designs made, the shirts printed, getting them into inventory, taking the photos, doing the marketing, the whole thing. So to see it go over well, it's like, it was worth the effort.
Yes. So that's pretty sweet. Also big news. Well, really big news here. This episode is brought to you by The Strength Co. You can check out The Strength Co. at thestrength.co. They make the best American-made Olympic iron plates on the market. Hands down. Put all your hands down because they're the best. And you know how I know they're good? They've got a billboard in right here in western northeast South Dakota right now.
That is how you know something's good.
That's the mark of a really excellent company is once they get a billboard in Aberdeen, South Dakota.
They don't let just anyone have those things. You can't just show up with money and get a billboard. There's rules.
No, you got to know people that know people in order to get in the Aberdeen, South Dakota billboard scene. And the Strength Co. did it. First they started off by bringing American-made iron to the United States on a large scale. And next they shifted to a billboard in Aberdeen. So what can't they do at this point? I would say almost nothing. Check out their billboard in Aberdeen. Check out their plates and everything else they've got at thestrength.co.
And this episode is also brought to you by our good friends over at Texas Power Bars. Texas Power Bars have been the bar of choice for Tanner and I for, a decade now, Tanner?
Pert near, yeah.
Pert near a decade.
Yeah, pert near.
With a name like Texas Power Bars, you can count on them to buy your very own Texas Power Bar. Currently, they are running a sale on the Classics collection, which is all of their bare steel bars. So if you wanted to get a bare steel 29 millimeter Texas Power Bar, the original, maybe a squat bar or a deadlift bar, all bare steel options are available for $40 off, up to $40 off. Head on over to TexasPowerBars.com and you can pick one up for yourself. I am the proud new owner of a 29 millimeter Texas Power Bar with black zinc shaft and chrome sleeves, and I am loving that thing. It is amazing. And also, we're going to get into it more this episode later, but I did some of my first squatting basically ever with a Texas squat bar, bare steel, this past week. And it's
Meat
nice. Meat prep,
Yeah,
baby,
meat
and
prep.
it's nice. So if you want to lift the way we lift with Texas Power Bars, head on over to TexasPowerBars.com. Go ahead, buy one of these bars. While you're there, tell them Massenomics sent you. Thank you, Texas Power Bars.
Oh, thanks, Texas Power Bars. Talking about the billboard, we have a Massenomics billboard up too. We are on the north-facing side of that billboard, and the Strength Co. is on the south-facing side of that billboard location. So it's great news for everyone traveling in July to Western Northeast South Dakota. You can one-stop shop, get a picture with both billboards this year. So,
A real landmark location.
yeah, and actually it's not where the billboard was last year. We moved back to our original billboard location, which is conveniently located across from the Casey's gas station. So not only can you get a picture with the Strength Co. and Massenomics billboards, you can stop in, grab a sixer of brewskis, grab a slice of Casey's za, a white Monster Energy, a pack of smokes, a pack of Zins, whatever it is you need from a Casey's.
It's all there.
Fill up with gas.
Yep.
You know, get some 10% ethanol gas while you're here, and you can pretty much do it all at Casey's
live the
convenience
life.
store.
I like the idea of just thinking that there's going to be someone that drives by that billboard multiple times during the meet week and is like, why are there people always underneath this billboard taking pictures? What's going on?
As an out-of-towner, you wouldn't have to worry, or, you know, as someone doing the meet and stuff, you wouldn't have to feel funny about taking a picture in front of the billboard at all. But sometimes when it is your own billboard, you feel a little funny standing around
Making
taking a
reels
picture
and
underneath.
standing underneath
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So I had to do that when I waited. But you also need lighting, so you can't do it in the dead of night either. So I did try to do that like in the evening when there's not a ton of traffic. Although
You didn't
good for the billboard location, there is a lot of traffic on
It's a
that
busy
road, and I
corner.
realized the traffic never really ends. So you just kind of like
Just got to do it.
do it. And
Yeah.
I got hollered at a number of times.
Did ya?
I assume some of them were people I know. I didn't recognize anyone specifically, but
I like to think none of them knew you. They're just like, get out of there, loser.
well, and there's so little walking in Aberdeen,
Oh,
South
God, I
Dakota
know.
on like
Yeah.
especially like on the busier, you know, if you get into pretty residential areas,
Yeah, you'll
people
see
are out walking all
through
the time.
neighborhood, Yeah.
But like in Aberdeen on like the main drags,
The arterial roads.
yeah, there really is not walking. Like you're like, oh, like the consensus is when you see someone walking, you're like, a homeless person.
Yeah.
Or, you know, like,
that are, they must not be allowed to drive their car by law right now.
right. So it takes people take notice when they see a person out along the street, and they're like, let me yell at them.
Yep.
Great opportunity to yell at them. So yeah, that's just another piece of the puzzle that's coming together for the Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic.
And there's a lot of pieces of that puzzle.
Yeah,
you could say the package is coming together nicely.
Yeah, speaking of packages, I drove into my garage today coming home from work, and there's I think 8, you know, the really big t-shirt boxes that we get, you know, the big ones that we take to the Arnold. 8 of those that all got delivered today of all merchandise
Ooh,
here. That's for the
actually,
Lift
I
Hard,
won't
Live
say what
Easy
it is,
Classic.
but you sent me a
Yeah.
picture of a certain piece tonight, and
Can you
confirm
came,
that
I
those-
sent you the picture of that because I wanted you
do
to
those
see
look
that
as good
one.
in person as they do on camera?
Those look good. That's a special edition item for the Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic that we didn't have last year. It's a new item this year for us.
That
It's
is a
sweet.
good looking one.
That thing's sweet. The meat tees showed up. I didn't even open those boxes yet. And then one other thing that we've had on the line here for a long time that we're hoping to have showed up today too.
Oh, today, man. Oh,
A really, you know, possibly the biggest item we've had in a while showed up today.
that has been in the works a long time.
And it is not directly meat related, but we will be, you know, releasing them at the
Did you
meet.
look at that item?
Yeah,
or
I
not?
tried a pair on, and they are as advertised. They are, they're good. We're you know, we've learned a few things over the years, and I feel like we got something dialed in on that. that item.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Oh, I'm just getting so
They're
fired
good.
up over here.
Yeah. The hardest part for me, I might just
Spill the
only
beans.
want to use that item and not like let because we've got still like 3 weeks until the meets here, so
God,
keep it out of film a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Just big things happening over here.
Yes, that is a big thing. So a lot of cool stuff there as far as getting ready for the meet here too. You did a little. Speaking of meet prep, you did. We're doing a little bit of special meet prep. I think that was just this week, right?
Yep. I went to Perfect Little Sweetie's gym on Monday night for the squat session. Big Bryce, it's his gym, and Paul trains with him a lot as well. They had been bugging me for weeks on end, and just so happened that every time they'd ask me to come, my schedule did not allow it. But this one was good to go, and so I made the trip over. Actually, not too far down the road from me. And Big Nathan from Build Fast Formula.
How many minute drive do you think it is for you?
It was about a 10-minute drive.
That's nothing.
The one thing that sucks is that the road that you go on is under construction, so it's just traffic's all backed up. But besides that,
the South Dakota State Flower, an orange traffic cone. Am I right?
Exactly.
Just every state would be that way.
Yeah. But got there, and luckily enough, the day I decided to go lift on the garage, it was only 95 degrees that day. So
not bad. Then,
really got to break in the heat. I actually take it back. The other day, I thought 84 was really hot. And this was 95. That was extremely hot. And then yesterday I lifted in my garage at 84. I'm like, actually, 84 feels pretty good all of a sudden.
Did Bryce have a Menards fan like you have?
He had a Masterforce fan, and he also had a very large pedestal fan.
Okay.
So yeah, he had 2 fans, but still, it's very warm garage. 95 is hot no matter what. So,
but you guys so you didn't have to warm up for very long.
Dude, I will tell you, man, it kind of is like your whole body is wrapped in neoprene. You just feel, you don't even really need to warm up. You just feel so just loose. Like you really do.
It's like a pair of warm pants for your entire body.
The entire warm pants is on everything. Yeah. So warm-ups are feeling pretty good. It's one of those things that's weird. We talk about it. When you're in a different environment that you don't lift in, you've lost your gauge for everything. You're like, things just feel different. I don't know if they feel better or worse, but they just feel different, and I'm kind of lost right now.
Right.
And that was exactly how this was, but we were warming up. Things were going good. Texas squat bar, I'd maybe used one once at the gym when you had one there, and it had been many years. I don't know if I'd ever used one now that I've switched to high bar. So I was curious if that would feel like it was any different, and no, it didn't actually feel different at all. So that was
so you don't have to worry about that.
The only thing that was different for me is I like to keep my arms and elbows in pretty tight. And so for me, I put my thumb on the knurling, like on the edge, for the smooth to the edge of the knurling. And on the Texas squat bar, that knurling pattern is in a lot more.
Yeah,
so I kind of have to eyeball.
Don't have the gauge.
Yeah, I don't have the gauge. So I kind of have to go like, just go like an inch off of the knurling which is pretty close. But that is the one on meet day that would have sent me for a little bit of a loop, because I would have never encountered that one before.
The knurling on all the Texas squat bars is not the same either.
Oh, really?
It's changed at times. So because
a few are different in the gym, aren't they?
Yeah, I've got, I guess, 3 Texas squat bars now, and 2 of them are the same. One of them is different. They're both very nice bars and otherwise the same. And I don't actually have a preference between one or the other, but there is noticeably a slightly different pattern. I don't know. The gaps are different or something like that. They must have changed at some point in time.
So that's something I'll have to be aware of a little bit. But again, pretty minor. I did work up to a single of 425. Felt pretty damn good.
Looked like the morning paper.
I mean, yeah, I didn't feel...
RPE morning paper.
Would you put RPE chicken baked?
Because I wrote RPE equals, and I didn't, because I kind of like making a mock, because people will do this RPE air thing all the time, you know? And I kind of like to make a mockery. Yeah, right. But just be like, no, just use, I want it to be increasingly dumber things that you... Are to the point where you're like, does that make sense? I don't know. I guess he's saying, is he saying it was easy or hard? I'm not even sure.
Chicken baked. What does that even mean? I don't even know what that is. That a Costco thing? Or are they talking about cooking chicken? I'm not even sure. But yeah, I felt really good. So that's got me pretty excited for where squat's going to go in the next couple of weeks here as the final prep stages come to us.
Sounds like you have not been holding back, in fact.
I have not been holding. And I mean, I can go on. I mean, I had a pretty good bench day too, but maybe we want to save some of this training.
Yeah, we better save some of that. I mostly wanted to make sure, though, that we at least hit the perfect little sweeties.
But man, okay, I cannot wait until the day, because we will go back again sometime. Actually, we were talking about maybe even going there on Monday. I might lift there on Monday again. But I cannot wait for the day when we do a gym tour in his gym, because it's like
which we will do.
Yes, it's going to happen.
We just need to be there at the same time.
It's like, his gym is so funny because it's a 2-stall garage. It's the only thing in there. You know, he doesn't have anything else in the garage, and it's part retro 90s vibe, part antique shop, part gym. It's so funny. Just the more you look around, the more knickknacks you start to notice.
Well, didn't you say you said I think there might be more stuff there than there is in Massenomics gym even, and Massenomics gym is well known for having quite the assortment of shit all over, covering the walls everywhere. I think
he has more knickknacks and stuff on the wall than Massenomics even, and some of them are just absolutely hilarious because they don't make any sense, and that's the beauty of it. So I really can't wait until we can get that on camera and see the whole thing.
Yeah, that will be a fun gym tour.
It will be.
Gym tours are the funnest videos we do too. I always love a good Massenomics YouTube.
And he's got a lot of homemade stuff that he's acquired over the years. Yeah. So that was cool. And if you go to his gym, he lets you hold the 100-pound plates. So that's also.
Did you happen to sneak any of those out of there?
The whole thing about it being 100 pounds made it makes it kind of tough to sneak off with those things.
He kind of likes to rub that in my face. Those 100-pound Yorks. He's got like a bunch of sets of them now too, doesn't he?
Got 4 of them. Yeah, he just picked up a set a couple months ago. Yeah. Or so he's got 4 total.
Okay, he's got 4 total. I thought maybe he had 3 sets now even.
He has has some 10-kilo milled Yorks.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, he's
got to look at those.
And then he has some old like 70s round head dumbbells too. Like is that what you call them? Like where it's like the globe? Yeah, the globe ones.
Yeah. Are they York or something?
No, they're not York. They're what did he tell me? Someone thought is it Excel? Remember those plates we have?
Oh yeah, we've got a set of Excel plates.
He said someone thought they were those. I don't know if it said that or if he knew for sure, but you don't see a lot of those, so it's just interesting seeing some of those there. And
Excel plates. I don't know if you remember infamous Massenomics post from probably 8 years ago as a plate restoration post where I turned the Excel plates into a pair of calibrated Rogue 25 kilo plates,
and some people back
legitimately did not understand it was a joke.
It's so stupid.
They're like
just clueless.
Yes. So perfect little sweeties. Okay. What do you got, a can over there or something?
Yes, and so Big Bryce will be lifting at the meet. Big Paul will be lifting at the meet. Big Nathan will be lifting at the meet.
Big Nathan. Who you can check out on our YouTube channel this week. Again, we posted a training session with Big Nathan at his gym at Build Fast Formula HQ.
God, what do you got for a can? That was just yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah, that just posted yesterday. What a week.
I got a Waterloo lemon lime. I know. I was thinking, did that post like 4 days ago? But yeah, what do you got over there? That can looks a little fancy.
Yeah, this is new here. This is new. This is an Aquafina tangerine. We just started doing a thing in our house Chico? Where we call every form of water as an Aquafina because Jack was telling us, he's like, we got some other brand, and he's like, could you just get Aquafina? So we kind of making fun of him, and we're just call it like any form of water, we just call it Aquafina now. I'm not sure how that
you said we're going to teach you to have personal preference.
Like, can you go fill the bath with Aquafina? And but no, this is a Topo Chico tangerine. We did so. This Aquafina thing led to a blind taste test we all did of 3 bottled water, and my wife set this up, and the 4th one I didn't know what it was. It was actually our tap water. And when I took them all, I said, these 3 are all in a very similar bar.
Okay, were you drinking them out of a glass, though? Is that what you were doing?
Clear cup.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, there's like 4 clear cups, just numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, and I didn't know it was in any of them. And the 3 of them, I was like, these 3 all taste really good, and I can barely taste the difference. Like, they're all great. They're all great. This one tastes really funny, and I didn't know that it was Aberdeen tap water, which I drink a ton of. But like, it definitively tasted way different than the other 3, and I was like, "This one's the worst." Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind about that.
So what's for people that aren't in the know, Aberdeen has a history of having water issues. Just being so.
We actually just had a boil advisory
Yeah,
like a
I
week
was
ago.
going to say, yeah, they just had a boil advisory. You were not, the news had to put out a thing, the city had to put out a thing. You were not supposed to drink the water. You could get sick. You were only supposed to consume water that had been boiled first. And that was like a week ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that's probably like a safer rule of thumb all the time around
I mean,
here,
that happens at least once a year, usually a couple times a year, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
I
Or it
can
also
say-
happens where they might not even do that, but you just even go in the shower and you're like,
you can
wow,
smell it.
that
Yeah.
smells way off right now.
I can say from experience, like when you shower, I guess this is both houses I've lived in, you get like kind of that water scum on the shower that stains the shower. I kind of just assumed that happened in every house after like a week or two of not cleaning your shower.
Right.
And here I'm like, Leah, I don't know if we've ever cleaned the shower. It doesn't get dirty. Like, it's just the quality of water. Like, that was a big surprise for me seeing that.
Yeah, if like around here, if you have web water, if you're not in the city limits, then you have web water, which is considerably better also. Or like a lot of people have significant whole house filtration systems, like not just the little tube that goes through your refrigerator, but like full reverse osmosis systems along with softeners and everything else. I think if you do all that, it does make a difference too, but I guess I've never gone down that road. I'm like, I don't really need another set of things.
Something's going to get you, right?
If it's the water, I'm beyond repair. If that water, like I've had so much of it that it's beyond repair. Topo Chico tangerine with ginger extract flavored sparkling water. I would give it a 3. It's like almost a 3.5. It's just not like.
I can tell you right now, tangerine with ginger extract, that name would be pretty low on my list of
I'd give it a 3.
desirables.
It's fine. I'll drink the whole thing and it's just fine, but it's not like, it's not out of this world.
It's not
by
that
any means.
salty stuff that we had last week.
Oh my God. Bajormi
that was not,
whatever that was.
That was not good.
I got a few more bottles around here if you're looking for spares.
Oh, thank you.
Supporting our supporting members this week. Want to mention that Big Colton passed his journeyman's exam on the first go. So well done, Big Colton.
Sioux Falls Big Colton?
No.
Okay. I was
Colton
say,
with a C.
I didn't think that would apply to him.
Not Colton with a K. Nope.
Gotcha.
Big Jessica, congratulations on getting 5th place at IPF Worlds.
Very commendable.
Yeah. Big Jessica B, the Canadian. Well, I suppose she still is Canadian, but lives in a little bit of a conflict of interest there, actually, because she lives in
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis now, I think. Yeah. She might have to switch teams.
Probably working on the paperwork as we speak.
Yeah. And then I would also mention shout out to Big Bryce for hosting that little lifting training session that
and
you guys
Paul
had.
And Nathan
then
for showing up.
Yeah, and Paul and Nathan. And then I would say shout out to Joey, Keith, and Nate for helping us facilitate the unpaid and underrated T-shirt that came out that we were just talking about. So shout out to those guys.
Been a great seller. They've put a ton of effort into.
The video that they made is
amazing,
class of its own. So thank you, supporting members. Do I got time for an ad here?
Our guest has arrived. So
okay, should I do one ad while you kick people out?
I already kicked him out.
Okay, maybe I'll just do one quick ad.
Okay, there you go.
Just for the heck of it. Build Fast Formula. I was just talking about them. Our friends in Watertown, South Dakota. Check out our YouTube channel. We'll have a 3rd video coming out this next week featuring Build Fast Formula, which will wrap up our Build Fast HQ visit videos, which a great video where we talk about combo racks in home gyms, garage gyms. So don't miss that. And then head over to buildfastformula.com. That's where you can get their full line of supplements. Tommy and I just we don't just talk about the stuff in ads, like
80-20 hard this week. Actually, I've also been hitting the Vaso Blitz.
The full blitz. The big
week.
Nathan's secret formula. A separate crew member asked me, what do I actually like to take? I told him I like the 80-20 protein. The chocolate's almost been my favorite, but I got chocolate peanut butter when we're there, and that might be my new favorite. And then for the pre-workout, I really like what Big Nathan showed us, where you take 1 scoop of Vaso Blitz and 1 scoop of Full Blitz together. So you get the full other ingredients, but just half the caffeine. So that's my answer there. Check everything out at buildfastformula.com. They have free shipping on all U.S. orders $100 or more, and you save 10% on every order there with discount code Massenomics. We're gonna try and gotcha a whole bunch, so we want to make sure you're as unprepared as possible.
That's fine. That's the best way to do things. I'm like more of a spontaneous type guy anyway. So
All right, sweet, perfect. So we're here with Big Austin Perkins, Big Perk, fresh off the 74 kilogram IPF World Championship in, where was it, Lithuania?
Yeah, like middle of nowhere, Lithuania, dude.
Okay. Like what city was it in, or what?
It was in, and if someone listens to this from Lithuania, I'm so sorry that I'm mispronouncing this.
There's a small, very, very small chance of that. We're probably safe.
Druskininki, I think that's how you say it. So we flew into Vilnius, and then we drove 2 hours to Druskininki.
Okay. That seems like a really odd place for it to be. I haven't really paid much attention to it and really thought about that much. Let's just have the United States. Am I right?
No, I don't know why me and my fiance were talking about it on the way. It's like, why make it like in like such a small city that's far away from the airport? Like, why not just make it like all the, like, I think at least I remember USAPL, they had all of the meets like in the same city. There was an airport, because why would you need to drive like another 2 hours on top of flying all the way across the world? Like, I don't know, man.
I think new rule, whatever country wins, which was certainly the U.S. this year, or whatever lifter gets best overall lifter, which also the U.S. obviously here, the next year it's hosted in that country.
Home court advantage.
Yeah, home court advantage.
I think honestly that's a good rule. I think that's just something, because it makes no sense to what they have. I mean, I guess majority of the other countries are European teams. Right. So I mean, I guess so. So I mean, the only ones that have to travel pretty far is the US and then like Australia and New Zealand. Those are the only three countries that are not a part of the Europe. So I mean, I guess.
Oh, it makes sense to me, but I want to be selfish and be like American elitism and say like we should have it here.
Dude, I just don't want to travel, across the world for a meet. That's just the only thing. I mean, it's nice whenever, you get there and you get there when it's in a good spot. Like, I can't wait for Sheffield, because that's like in the UK. That'll be nice. Right. But like, no one's like, let me go to Druskininki, Lithuania. That's not on anyone's bucket list from the US.
Yeah. How many days were you gone for then, from like the day you left your house till you got home?
The day I left my house, I think our flight was on the 14th. So no, my flight was on the 13th. I got in on the 14th. We left my house on the 12th. So we left from Austin, Texas, drove up to Dallas, flew out of Dallas, and then had all the freaking flights. So we left on the 13th, flew out on the 13th, got there on the 14th at night.
Okay. And then when did you get home? I mean, just not too long ago.
Yeah, the 19th.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, okay. So like almost a week now.
Yeah. So you won though. I mean, cat's out of the bag. You kind of kicked everyone's ass, right? You beat best overall lifter regardless of weight class, right?
Yeah, it was it was good. We figured that as long as we won, which there was no world that we didn't win, we prepared to like go above and beyond. So the only bad thing that could have happened is maybe I bombed out on squat, but that's never happened before. Knock on wood. I don't have any but no, yeah, man, it was a good time. We prepared very good for it. I don't want to get too ahead, but we just knew that if we came in, do what need to be done, we'd get best lifter. I mean, with IPF points, I think it favors like the 74s and 83s, I'm pretty sure. So we knew as long as we hit what we hit before, like no one was going to be able to touch like whatever the IPF points is. I know everyone does like dots normally, but IPF, I think it was like 123 or something like that. I don't know.
Okay. And that's kind of the thing about World. A ton of our listeners are super into powerlifting, compete in powerlifting all the time and everything, but for the average person that goes to a powerlifting meet, you go and the normal theme that most people are doing is, which makes sense for most people, is I just want to put up the best numbers that I'm possible of doing. Hopefully I can hit a PR, hopefully I can add something. But when you go to Worlds, I'm not saying you're not trying to hit your best numbers possible, but that's probably not your number one thought. Your thought is, this is a competition. This is like actually a sport against other people in this case. So my goal is just to win. It's a little bit different mindset, I think. I mean, you're the one that knows, but I just wonder if that is that kind of how you approach it. You know, you're thinking, I just want to win, right?
Yeah, it's different because I think majority of powerlifters are they do it for like a what is it? Not like a sport, but
A hobby or
It's like a hobby.
It's a hobby. It's a hobby. Yeah, it's a hobby.
Right.
Sorry, I couldn't think of the word. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a hobby. So, but for me, like I get paid for it. It's like my job.
Right.
It's like probably this year it became more of my job than coaching because I do coaching on the side now, I would say. But mainly it's like, all right, let me go to these meets. Let me do what needs to be done. I get paid for it. Like it's a job. So I get for other people where it's like, well, it's a hobby. It's good. I like to do it. But whenever I go there, like me and my fiance always say, it's like it's a business trip, and then after it's kind of like vacation, especially if it's like outside of the country. But yeah, it's more of like a go in. The goal is to win. Uh, Sometimes it's about hitting PRs. Like as of right now, like after winning Worlds, you get the Sheffield invite. The chef going to Sheffield, that's like okay, let me go on, let me hit these PRs. When it comes to like nationals, it's like all right, nationals, let's just win so we can get that world spot. World is like, okay, let me just win so I can get that Sheffield spot. And this year, because every 4 years is World Games, you get that World Game spot if you podium. That's great too. So yeah, for me, it's just like, all right, let me get by, let me win, do what needs to be done. If I don't hit a PR, it's like I would like to, but it's not like I didn't PR this time.
Right. You did break you broke a world record squat on your opener, wasn't it?
Yeah. Because the IPF is different. So
right.
I mean,
the world records are in IPF competition, is what? Right.
Yeah, you can't hit it like at nationals or the only place you can break world records, which I think this is unfair too, but it's fine because it interferes with Sheffield because Sheffield is based off of world records and world records total. So the only time that U.S. lifters can break it are like IPF Worlds that just happened, and then NAPFs, which is like North American. Like they have Euros for Europe,
okay.
So it's like North America type thing. So you can break world records there. So those are the only 2 times you can break world records.
Okay.
But for Europeans, you have Worlds, you have Euros, and then you have Arnold UK. But which someone told me that you can be an American and still do Arnold UK, but
right.
You don't get like an invite to that. You have to be like, hey, like I want to go to it and reach out to them and do that type of stuff. But if they already have like a full roster, like I don't think they're gonna just invite someone that's outside of Europe to do that.
Right.
That
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So for the 74s, what happened was the world record was like, I think before last year, it was just only 790. That's all it was, 790 kilos. And then a guy from Europe, the guy who got second to me at Worlds, he broke the world record by 10 kilos at Euros. Then it was like, all right, okay, well, he boosted it like, 10 kilos. That's fine, not that bad. I hit 850 before, so I'm like 50 kilos on top of that is good. And then 3 months later, he goes to the Arnold UK, breaks it by another 15. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, what is this guy doing? I'm like, super strong guy. Like, I'm happy he's gotten stronger and stuff like that. But I'm like, like, it would have been smart for him too, to just like, all right, let's just let the world record be what it is for now. Like, it doesn't matter. But he's an older guy. We've talked about it. He's talked about it. He's like, I don't know how many freaking competitions I have left. So I'm just going to go hard as I can. So I'm like, yeah, I mean, no faults, man. Get in where you fit in.
Right. So you've obviously will be going to the Sheffield here. That's not, I don't know what month that is in. That's not for quite, that's a ways out, I'm sure. It wasn't that long ago.
I think it's January 26th.
Okay. Yeah. So you got some time there, but what I'm wondering, the Sheffield, the overall winner, or the way you win is by percentage greater than the current world record, obviously. Do you have what is the prize money? Like if you win overall first at Sheffield, I mean, it's significant, right? Like, I mean, it's
they haven't released the payouts for this year, but last year I'm pretty sure it was £50,000.
Okay. And we'll just I mean, I have no idea what the conversion on pounds to dollars is, but we'll just assume it's still a lot.
close.
It's not like some weird conversion where it actually, wouldn't it suck though if we all think it's a lot and you get your check and you take it to convert it and it's like $400?
Yeah, that'd be freaking terrible. It's like the conversion from US dollars to freaking pesos.
Yeah. Yeah. You're like, this is not what I signed up for. But so that's a big deal. Would it be a bigger deal for you? I mean, you did say it's kind of your job now too. What would you be more stoked about winning, Worlds or Sheffield?
Definitely Sheffield, because I mean, it's just so hard to do that, because especially whenever you go, and I think this year is going to be like a big year. I think the past couple years has been like, I think the year Jesus won it, which was the first year, I think he broke it by like 4% or something like that. If I'm wrong, if I might be right or wrong, it's around that time. But like second place was like only 1% over. And then last year, I think was the same thing, around 4 or 5. And then the next person was like 1% over, 2% over. But this year, I'm pretty sure like almost all the weight classes, it's going to be hard. Like, especially after what I did at Worlds and boosted it by like, I think 20 kilos. Like at first, if it would have stayed the same, I probably could have won it by like hitting my PR total now of 850. But now since I broke it some more, I'm gonna have to go like above and beyond, which I'm excited to do finally. But this year, I'm pretty sure like you're gonna need like the podium is gonna be like from first to third, it'll be over 5%, which is crazy because usually it's been like kind of easier for like the person to win a little bit. But now since everyone switched over from the US, it's like this huge gap. So, I mean, it's about to be filled. And I think after this year, too, it'll be harder. So if I don't win this year, I don't think I'll probably, to be honest, it'll be hard unless it's like 1% again that someone wins by and I can barely milk it out. But I think this is the year where I have to get in and win it, and it'll be good. But that's definitely better because there's only one winner of Sheffield. And after you win it, it's kind of going to be hard. That's the point of Sheffield. So, like, there aren't multiple winners year after year after year. But just being able to say like you won Sheffield is really good, because it'll say you get second. It's going to be super hard for you to put 30
that much more on your total.
Yeah, because that's probably what the next person is going to get to win it the next year. So
yeah, does make it really interesting gamesmanship based on how that's factored. But so then I wonder, this is kind of a funny question because obviously you just broke the world record with your performance, but was it a thought in your mind to sandbag that, like to not break it by any more than necessary so that you leave as much meat on the bone as possible for the Sheffield? Like, is that something you're thinking about?
Yeah, I think that's the main goal for everyone, especially for the U.S. team. That was for that's what we went over for the head coach for the U.S. team, and then my coach and myself. We all had a meeting like a week out from everything. It's like, what are the goals? First goal is automatically to win. That's always the goal, because if you don't win, you don't go to Sheffield. So you have to win. And it's hard to gauge, especially with some people, how strong they're going to get. The guy, like I just mentioned, who boosted the world record twice, he had already hit 15 kilos and then 15 kilos again. So we put like 30 kilos on his total within 6 months. So we had to like prepare for that and be like, okay, let's say he puts on another 15.
Right.
And if that was the case, he was around like that 830 range. And my total was 836, I'm pretty sure. So like we were just prepared to hit like 830 would have been like our bottom end anyway. And then like if we needed to, like 850, that was like the top end for us. So going in the squat, we knew we had to get 3 squats because we out squatted them. I know I had to get 3 benches because he out benched me by like 10 kilos. And then deadlift was just like play the field and see what we need. But we had him capped at like 350. Which is like, I don't know what that is in American. I think that's 771 actually.
Yeah.
So he was, we thought he was going to pull that. And so on my second attempt, we were like, all right, well, do we go for the last one and like see if he's going to try to pull that 350 for the win? Or do we want to just take a third pull that we know we'll get to put it just out of reach? And the US coach, love him. He doesn't care about Sheffield. He wants to win. That's what we need. We want the team points. We want to win as a team. We need the win over if you get to Sheffield, how you want to win Sheffield or make it easier or harder or whatever. So he was like, hey, we're just going to put on 325. At first, actually, he had on 327. He was like, we're going to put on 327, and he has to outpull us for the win. and we kind of saw that he wasn't going to chase anyway, but he pulled after me. So we didn't really know if he was going to change it after or not. So he was just like, hey, let's just drop it 2.5 kilos. We'll make it 325. If he chases, but he'll have to pull 350. We don't think he has 350 on him, but we rather be safe than sorry. And so that's what happened there. It's just like, I'd rather have not taken the third pull and like just reached that
Right.
world record, which is 815. So I would have totaled like 816. But I mean, you don't want to have the conversation after, like, dang, what if we would have taken that third deadlift, we would have made it,
Right. That would be it would be a shitty feeling if you were playing the sandbag game so much that you had way more in you and you purposely held up, and then like they pulled something crazy out of their ass, and that would really suck.
Yeah,
like
tough to live with
losing
that one.
when you give it your most is one thing, but losing when you're like trying to like walk a fine line, that would be a harder pill to swallow for sure.
Yeah. But I'm glad it happened. I mean, it makes me actually feel good. And me and my fiance were talking about this as well. We're just like, I feel like this is going to be an amazing prep, like going into Sheffield. And she was like, I just feel like this is going to be like your best prep you've ever had. And the last prep I had living in the world was by far not my best. It was okay, had some good moments, but it wasn't like perfect. Like whenever I hit 851 back last year in like September, that prep was like amazing. Best prep ever. Was going in every day, was like training in the summertime in Austin, Texas, no AC in the gym. Like I'm going in dying every day. This time it was just like I was just getting by. I was doing good. I failed a few things too in training, which usually doesn't happen. But like this next prep going into Sheffield, I think is going to be like, I want to put together a crazy, amazing prep, and I think it's going to be really good. So I finally get to I get to actually shoot for something, and then actually when we get there, I get to go all out instead of just like holding back. Because the past 2 meets I've done have been like, all right, let's just do enough to where we get the worlds. I really didn't have any competition. I squatted 318, 700 for the first time. That was really good. That's what we pushed on that. But bench and deadlift, we just took what we needed just to get by. I only took 2 benches and 2 deadlifts. But then at Worlds, it was just like, all right, let's just squat what we need, bench what we need, pull what we need just to stay close enough. Now we're getting to Sheffield, and it's like, oh, I get to like actually just go all out and see how much progress I've made in this past. Basically, it'll be like over a year since I've actually just pushed it. So it'll be fun to see.
Yeah, that'll be an exciting one. Everyone will be looking forward to that meet, I think, when it comes around next January. Switching gears just a little bit here. We've got this game called Overrated, Underrated that we play with every guest that we've got on. We got a special hand-picked set of topics for Big Perk, for just hand-picked for you. It's just your job to decide if each one is overrated or underrated. The most important thing you got to remember is you can't ride the line. You have to decide if each one is either over or under. So first one, overrated or underrated, chicken wings, specifically on meat week.
Oh, specifically on meat week. That's where you got me. You had me at first chicken wings. I was about to be like, that's easy. I'm gonna say underrated meat week because it just depends on what I'm sitting at, honestly, for body weight wise. But it's like, bro, like I would eat them almost every day. Especially there's a wing spot in Austin.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, bro, I can't believe I'm just not eating these wings every day. And especially since I remember last time I was cutting, one of my friends was down and we went to that wing place. It's my favorite wing place. And everyone just ate it in front of me. And I was like, I can't believe I'm not eating this thing every day because it just smells so good. It's so good. So yeah, I'll give it the underrated. Whenever it's out of comp though, it's overrated for sure because oh wait, actually, let's flip that. Let's flip it.
Okay.
It's overrated.
Gotcha.
Yeah. There we go. It's overrated meat week, and it's underrated whenever I'm out of comp because I'm just like, like it's good, but I'll eat this and I'll eat that. But then meat week comes, I'm like, I gotta have it, but can't have it, which freaking sucks.
So what's like your go-to flavor for wings?
Okay, so if it's a regular place, probably like lemon pepper.
Okay. So like
a
dry
rub?
rub?
I'm a dry rub guy. Yeah, I'm a dry rub guy. I'm a dry rub guy.
What about wings or flats? Wings or flats? That's also a big discussion we have all the time. Wings or flats?
It's got to be flats.
Or flats or drummies. I kind of get saying that wrong, but you know what I meant.
Drums,
yeah. Oh, I'm big flats guy myself. So
no, yeah. There's a flavor at this wing place that's in Austin. It's called Tommy Want Wingy. If you're ever in Austin, Texas, go to Tommy Want Wingy. It's in like a beer garden.
Tommy Want Wingy.
And so like we did exactly Tommy Want Wingy. We order our wings and they come like with fries, and it's a side of fries, but they're like, I think they're called fire in the hole fries or something like this. Super spicy fries, so good. I get pineapple mango. Oh no, pineapple fire. I forgot what it's called now. Habanero, pineapple habanero. That's really good. And then we get a drink too. We get a little ranch water, a margarita with it. Oh my, it's so good.
And so are you doing like blue cheese or ranch with the wings, or are they just keeping them dry?
Oh no, they got to be ranch, man.
Okay,
I can't do blue cheese, man. No, blue cheese is disgusting. Oh my god, that's so nasty, man.
Okay. All right. Well, so far so good. All right. Just let me know if you don't know who this is. We can maybe audible out of this one, but just in case you do, overrated or underrated, Tony Perkins, not Perkins, Tony Perkins.
I don't know who that is.
Okay. Well, it's you've never seen the movie Heavyweights by chance, have you?
Nope.
Okay.
Better add that to the list.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
I'm actually going
to
put that down right now.
Yeah, that's Ben Stiller. You'd actually like it. He's kind of a strength coach in the movie, so and he's a hell of a character.
I've seen this. Yeah. I've seen this on like around, but I haven't seen
it.
Yeah, and he has like memes and stuff that people make about it.
And he has the Perkins system where it's like Perkins Power. And there's this purple logo where it's like almost like the guy standing like this. And I could see a really good Perkins Power shirt parody for you.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah,
Thank you for that. I'll 50% goes to you guys. No, yeah,
our royalties.
That's before my time. It's a 1995 movie.
Yeah,
so it's
it's
worth
it.
Like on Disney Channel when I was up. Maybe I didn't see it.
It holds up pretty well though. It's worth it's worth a watch. It's got like goalie from Mighty Ducks in it, and it might be like Keenan Thompson might be in it.
Yeah. So when he was younger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So keep that one in mind. We'll switch though then. This is another tricky one because I don't know how much this is located in Texas, but you've probably been around some different places for powerlifting meets, of course, for sure. So overrated or underrated Perkins restaurant. Have you ever been to a Perkins?
That's so overrated, bro. Oh my god, it's not that good. It's not that good. And I had the jokes are still, they just keep coming. It's just like, oh, there's a restaurant. I'm like,
yeah.
No, that's not. I will.
I'm not claiming that.
No, I'm not claiming that, dude. That's bad. It's like whenever I moved to Austin, everyone would like. People say like Austin, Texas all the time, like, oh, in Austin. But then when you first moved here, I would like break my neck to see if someone was talking to me, and they're like, "Why is this guy looking at me?" And it's like, "What's my name?" Like, I'm assuming you're calling me. But, yeah.
Okay.
So do you have
or the jokes? Oh my God, Austin. Oh my God, the amount of times I've heard that.
Nice. I didn't even think of that one. Yeah. Hilarious. Yes. Okay. Good. All right. Last one. This one's worth all the marbles. And this was kind of some inside information given to us. So hopefully you get the meaning on this, but overrated or underrated, the squatty potty.
I already know who said this. freaking Steve Denovi, man. Oh my God. Yeah, that story is so funny. Game day first opened and they had a squatty potty in there, and then he was just like, "Is this Austin Perkins' throne?" And I'm like, "All right." That's underrated, bro. I don't have one at home.
Yeah.
But whenever I was at game day and I would use it, that thing works miracles. It gets you in and out of the restroom real quick.
Yeah, I've never had the privilege of using one, but I've heard people have pretty high praise for those things.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it before I used one, and I was like, that's just kind of weird, you know? Like, you're just having your legs, like, propped up a little bit, like, not, I guess, like you're sitting. It's more like a squat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, I mean, it works, so.
Yeah. Might have to add that to the gym, Tanner.
Yeah. I don't want to put any extra things in our gym that people could get filthy and disgusting. Though, like I can already picture not wanting to clean that thing.
Yeah, you probably don't want to touch that, man. Because like if people like leave it, they leave it like right underneath the toilet. So like if you need to, you
And
can
then
just
they
like
pee.
kick your feet and push it, and then
Right.
they pee.
Yeah.
Right.
Like nah,
It would just be
man.
covered in piss.
Yep, literally covered in piss, man. It's terrible.
Yeah. Good news. It looks like you passed overrated, underrated, outside of not having seen heavyweights, but
Yeah, no, actually, I take that as an L because I try to pride myself in being like a movie buff guy, and then when someone says a movie and it's like you haven't seen this movie, I'm like,
Well,
I was like, just take my card, take my card.
Yeah, we can give you a pass because it was before your time, but I do
Right.
think you'll like that one once you see it.
Okay, yeah. I like you said. I saw Ben Stiller's in it, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
he's like the main guy.
Yeah, yeah. I think he's a funny guy, so I probably will like it.
Yeah, I think it's good. You'll like it. Okay. So you did pass overrated, underrated. So congratulations. It should be right up there. We'll send you the trophy. We assume you'd put it right next to your world.
Let's see if it'll. Can I get the?
Nice. Perfect.
We got reactions.
Okay. So you fresh off your win there. Kind of a dominating performance. You put up that 850 or 851 kilogram total, whenever that was, within the last year, whenever that was. So you've kind of been crushing it on a roll here. Here's my question for you. Regardless of weight, regardless of drug tested federation versus untested federation, who's the best powerlifter in the world right now?
I would probably give it to John Hack if you just don't care about the tested untested part. Yeah, I would say him. He's just been dominant for so long. Me personally, I think I've said this a lot of times on my page. I'm not like a big advocate for untested stuff. I'm just not like I don't know, man. I just don't like it. Yeah, it's just especially because I was like a big football guy. And like drugs have always been like a banned thing, and I've like I don't know, man. I just don't see the drive of just using something else to get stronger. That's just not me. So I just can't. I just think I don't think it's cheating because of course they can let them do it in untested, but I'm just like, I just think it should be like not a thing in general. Like because I think it's bad for you, and especially like all these kids see it and then they're like, oh my God, like John had strong, but he's strong because of what? He takes what? And then they try because they want to be stronger and they don't even get as strong as John Hack. But then you messed up this kid's hormones that's like 13, 14 years old because they just see they're like this super strong guy that does this, so let me do it. Like I just think that we should just be able to just do it as naturally as possible.
All right, let's say this then. Let's get rid of the untested, then it's not there. So we're not talking about untested. Now who's the best powerlifter in the world?
Oh, that's me. By far. Yeah, like at first I was super upset until someone pointed it out to me. But when it comes to like formulas, I think the only formula that I don't have for tested lifters, I think is Wilkes. And I'm pretty sure I'm right below Wilkes from Jesus. And it's not that far of a split either. I think it's like 2 or 3 points, if I'm correct. It might be a little bit more, but I know it's within 5 points for sure. But when it comes to like dots and IPF points, I'm ahead of everyone by all the men by like 3 or 4 points as well, probably more than that. Except for Taylor Atwood, I think we're like not tied. Of course, I'm above him, but like. We're separated by like 0.5 or something like that. But for the women though, I didn't know when it comes to IPF points, women get a boost on IPF points rather than men. So at first I was like, oh, like I can't believe like there's 2 women that are just better than me in IPF points. And they're like, oh, women get an extra buff because they're women. And I was like, oh, okay, well I guess that's good for me then, since I'm so close to them and I don't get the extra bump. So yeah, man.
Well, yeah, I think based on the formulas and what you look at and stuff and how, you're putting up totals that are like equal or better than I maybe this is, I don't know if this stat is right, but like almost basically everyone in the weight class above you too, right?
Yeah, Russ hit 860 at Nats like this year. So he just bumped back up over me.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
he was super mad about that, so he had to go over 851. He was not gonna let me um, be above him for too long. Hopefully, I can get above him again because after Sheffield, I'm definitely going to go over 860. I'll say that.
What's your walk around weight at? Do you normally have to cut to make the 74, or what do you usually weigh?
Well, okay. If you want to go off of, I actually just had this conversation with someone. If we go off of, if I'm eating, like tracking a little bit, not really tracking, but eating the same thing that I know that keeps me at a certain body weight, I'm probably like 74 and a half to 75. So like basically not having to cut.
Right.
But if I'm just enjoying life and it's like me and my fiance are foodies, and it's like we go out and eat wings twice a week, like we talked about.
Go to
We
Perkins.
Perkins.
yeah, you know, Perkins. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
Perkins.
We get like we love burgers. Like that's like our biggest thing. So we've been together. Like we like to go to different places and eat burgers. If we get fries, we get like a big fries. It's like fries and queso. So like a bowl that's like freaking huge. I know everyone can't see it, but it's like a big bowl of it, and we eat the whole thing. I get drinks too. If I'm doing that, I probably get up to like 78
Okay.
sometimes. 77, 78. 78 if it's like I'm doing that plus it's Christmas or Thanksgiving and I'm just eating like I'm eating that much. But yeah, between that 77, 78, if I'm just like picking out eating whatever I want, just like not tracking anything, not doing anything.
Right. So at your
But, yeah,
heaviest,
so
you might get about 10 pounds above the weight class. Give or
Yeah.
take. Yeah.
So do
Maybe.
you ever see?
Yeah, I go ahead. Go ahead.
So do you ever see? I mean, in let's say a 5-year plan, do you ever see yourself moving up a weight class, or do you want to stay here?
I probably will, but I don't know when I want to. That's the thing. Like I do see myself going up, but I don't know if I want to make it sooner or later. If I want to do like a go up and go up sooner and just be like, like let me just eat whatever I want and just weigh in heavy and like weigh 77, 78 and weigh under 83. Cause I don't see myself being a full 83 unless I'm like on like a certain diet where I'm eating probably like 2,500 calories or something.
Right.
Not 2,500, actually like 3,500 calories. So I have to my metabolism is so freaking high. I would have to eat so much. I physically just can't eat that much.
Right.
But when it comes to long term, that's what I'm probably looking leaning more towards, just because, like I probably like whenever me and my fiance decide to like have kids and stuff like that, I'm probably not going to be worrying about like tracking stuff. I'm probably just going to be eating whatever I want, eating the food that my kid freaking doesn't want to eat or something like that. But like as of right now, though, I do plan up for World Games. The weight classes are combined. It's 74s and 83s together. So I think we're middleweights. And I plan on weighing over 74.
But do you compete together, or do they still keep it separate though?
You compete together.
Oh, so being lighter is like no advantage then.
Is winning that combined class, is winning it by total or by IPF points?
By IPF points.
Oh, okay.
So you could still benefit by being at a lower body weight then though too. Like if it's like you competing up against Russ and you weigh in at 164 or 74 73 whatever it is, and he weighs in at 83, you could beat him with a lower total then though still, right? Like I mean that's
100%. There's no world that I lose to Russ.
Right.
And at that meet, but my goal isn't to win off of IPF points. I want to beat him on total.
Right. Which is definitively more badass. Like, cause you want to say like, you don't, I mean, it's still, I'm not saying it doesn't count the other way, but it's just like, if you beat him on total, there's no questions there's nothing, there's no way to spin it where you aren't better at that point.
That's like, and like, I'll get to see what type of strength he's at, for Sheffield, but it just sucks for him. He's kind of at a handicap where he has to he has to cut no matter what because he like trains at like 90, 91.
Right.
And then he cuts down to 83 and then zaps his squat and zaps his bench, and his deadlift is kind of around the same, like within 10 kilos of it, how it is in training. But for me, I have to just be within 74, 83. I'm just going to weigh heavier.
Right.
So that gives me the point where it's just like, oh, I can weigh in at 76, 77, going in, eating at the meet, and you have to cut down.
Right.
So it just sucks for you. Like, I hate it for him. Like, I'm not a big Russ hater, but I want to do something that other weight classes, like no person in other weight classes don't. I guess the only comparable thing you can say is Jesus beating the all-time untested total, but
Yeah.
like no other person in the weight class has beaten the weight class above. So I just want to show that I'm literally built different.
Yeah, I mean, that makes a pretty damn good case for it, I would say. So what about Taylor then? You know, that would be one other potential, just thinking about anyone that we talked about, Russ, like who could be a competitor for you to like even actually push you farther at this point or maybe give you a run. So we talked about Taylor. I don't know if he's kind of been injured or hasn't really been competing here for a little while or whatever. Also, he's 35-ish. I don't know if that's exactly right.
Yeah,
He's
he's
about
35.
Yeah. A lot of the IPF lifters, I don't know if this isn't a perfect rule, but a lot of the top IPF lifters are not 35. Like a lot of people are closer to your age of like 25. He has been out of it for a little bit with some injuries already that we've seen. I think, you're talking kilos a lot, but I think when I looked, he really only had the one meet where he totaled over 1,800 pounds. The rest of them, since after that, were all, significantly lower. And I'm not saying all this to just shit all over him or anything like that. But what I'm leading into is, do you think there's any chance that he really does come back and really give you a run for your money at some point in time here?
So when it comes to Taylor, I will say that actually there are some guys. I think I'm one of the youngest who's won world. Some guys
Okay.
are like, I want to say like 27 and then up.
Okay.
Like the guy who got second to me, he's 36, so he's
Okay.
older than Taylor.
Yeah.
Then you have Jesus. I think he just turned 26 this year. I don't turn 26 till next year. I'm pretty sure Bob Matthews is 27, 28. Ashton Ruska is like 28, 29. Waskar, who's a 59, I think he's older than me by a year or two as well. He might be the same age as Jesus. And then the 66 from the US who got second, he's like in his 30s too.
Okay. So there are
like
a couple in their 30s that at least.
Yeah, a couple in their 30s. But
yeah.
With Taylor, though, he was just injured. So I really don't know. That's what the part where I'm like, I don't know if he'll come back or like, will that injury just be something that hinders him forever? He's trying to work on it. I know I saw last time I watched his YouTube video was a long time ago. He was doing some type of cellular regrowth to the muscles that were like torn and stuff like that. So like they take like the good blood cells or something from like a good part of your body and then they put it into where your injury is, and it's supposed to help. And that's why he said that he dropped out of Nats, was because he wasn't fully healed from that yet. He wants to be fully healed when he comes back, and he wants to come back and he wants to make sure that he can win whenever he comes back, because it's all about winning. It's not about competing. It's about winning. Yeah, I think that if he says he's gonna recover and have a full recovery, I think he'll be back to maybe that 839 or whatever, he was 838 and a half what he was at. But it just depends on how that injury. But he had like a hip injury or something like that. So it's kind of like that's something that you need. That affects the squat and your depth.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's not something you can just be like, all right, like I'm fine with. If you don't feel good, you're not gonna be able to PR on squat. Maybe on deadlift you can muscle through it, but on squat, that's just something you can't just solve. But he looks good. All his training that I'm seeing right now. I hope he comes back, because like I always say, that's the only person that I've lost to multiple times. That he's beaten me twice and I haven't won once. So it would just be good to get that battle back. Even if he says he's not at his 100%, he comes back and I still got to beat him. I'm going to still take the win. I'll be sorry. But, like I said, I hope he comes back. I hope he's good. But honestly, unless I see him do something crazy on his first meet back, he said he's supposed to be doing a meet back half of this year. if I see something crazy, then I'm like, okay, yeah, he's definitely come back. But as of right now, I think it's like it's a flip of the coin, man. It's a 50-50 type thing because I know how those injuries go, and it's either like not career ending, but career hindering, or you're just like, there's nothing I can do about it.
Well, and realistically, assuming if you met up and you're on your game, not only does he have to be back to where he was before, he has to like be better than he ever was before, be better than he ever was when he was younger and prior to injury, which I'm not saying it's impossible, but like that's, that's
a couple
not
of guys in our mid 30s. It doesn't get any easier. That's
no, exactly. It does not get easier.
That's how the guy who hit the 815, who boosted the world record, who got second to me. His name's Shell. I keep just saying this guy. Shell, I'm gonna give him this props. He's super strong. He's 36, and he hadn't totaled over 780 in like years. And then out of nowhere, he just got strong. He went from like 780, like 780, 770, 780 again, then jumped up to 800, and then jumped up to 815. Like
what country is he from?
Past year, Norway.
What's their testing protocol like there in Norway?
Hey, like apparently people say, I didn't know this, but apparently a lot of the European countries don't get tested a lot. Like the U.S. does the most testing by far.
Mm-hmm.
Even with like this federation switch, when they're like we can only do water testing, they still have done like the most testing. So apparently a lot of European lifters, I'm not saying he does this by far, Shell, I think you're natural. But apparently a lot of other European lifters.
Perk just winked. For anyone not watching on video, he winked when he said he thinks he's natural.
Yeah, a lot of Europeans just take and then they cycle off going into meet, which is crazy to me. I mean, U.S. lifters, apparently some U.S. lifters do it too. I don't know. I will say I will let anyone follow me around for the rest of my life if you want to and see if I take anything. Even my fiance, when we first got together, she was like, you can tell me.
She's like, no, you can tell me.
Yeah. Like, it's okay. Like, I won't tell anyone. I'm like, nah, man. Like, people like lived with me and saw my lifestyle. They would be like all of my friends are like, for people literally don't understand that you don't track your macros, you don't care about anything. It's like you go and you train. It's literally just your heart. It's like literally when talent meets hard work, it's me. That's me. I don't do any like extra stuff. Like I don't count my macros. I don't eat the correct things. I really should. I'll probably be a lot stronger than what I am, but
you don't want to get too strong all at once is what we always say.
Yeah, you don't want to get too strong.
Exactly, right. Like whenever I stop the strength, it just stops. Then I guess I'll start doing.
You got to leave a few things. Yeah. like a few aces in the hole. Like, oh no, now I'm really going to dial in nutrition. Yeah.
Yeah. So man, it's crazy. Like in college, whenever I hit 800, me looking back now, I don't know how I hit 800. I was drinking all the freaking time, man. It was crazy. And now I'm like, no, man, I can't. If I have like 2 drinks and I wake up the next day, I'm like, all right, training's gonna get done, but it's gonna be ass, man.
Yeah.
Like, I've got to that point now, so it's like, man. I just think it's like a genetics thing. My fiance has told me, she's like, yeah, it's literally just your genetics. You just have like the correct leverages for a power lifter, and you have the genetics, and you work hard. That's just, I don't know. You're just different. She's I don't understand it.
Do you have any siblings?
I do, but I don't have any full siblings. My parents split, so like it's just me between my mom and my dad.
Okay, I was just curious if you had any siblings that also had crazy strength or anything like that.
No, I will say I think when it comes to athleticism, probably most of it comes from my dad, because I do have my youngest brother is like built exactly like me. He's probably going to be a little taller because he has a different mom than me, but like he's super athletic, which is crazy. Like he's doing things at a younger age than because my dad like makes athletes. So he's a high school track coach. He's won like 12 or 13 rings for the school he coaches.
Wow.
And like he starts us out young. Like when I was 5 years old, I was playing soccer, dude. Like soccer right away, and then until I was able to play tackle football or flag football, play flag football, then went from flag football to tackle football, then from tackle football, I was playing like basketball. I tried baseball. And then whenever I got to junior high, I started running track, and then I did powerlifting as well. Then it just kept going and going and going. He was always just drilling me and stuff like that. Like we'd be at home. I tell my fiance this all the time. He would like I would just be doing something random, and then he would like have a ball, and he would just throw it to me like to get my reaction times like perfect, dude. It's like it's crazy. So I think my youngest brother is probably like the second most athletic, like underneath underneath me. Like my other brothers can do sports too, but he's just like it scares me. I think he might like be one of those like go D1 for football and like maybe if he I don't know how tall he's gonna be. I think he could be like NFL type good.
Yeah,
Right.
Damn.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'4".
We interviewed Dr. Mike Israel several times, and he kind of takes I don't know how tall Dr. Mike is. Maybe he's like 5'6", but he kind of takes pride in the term short kings. Do you how do you feel about the term short kings?
I mean, I love when people say it. I don't use it, but I mean, it makes me feel good when other people say it. Like, all right, short king. Like my I know you guys do the podcast with Joe. Joe calls me a short king every once in a while, and I'm like, yeah.
So you'll embrace it a little bit at least. Then if someone calls you a short king, you're not against it.
I mean, I hope my child feels the same way. At least my son, because me and my fiance is like 5'2".
Okay.
So they have literally no hope. And,
Every once in a while it works out weird.
You never know.
I mean that is true. I mean my dad is 5'9", and my mother / stepmother, she's I want to say she's like 5'3", 5'4", and my second to youngest brother is like I want to say he's like almost 6 foot. I want to say he's like 5'10", 5'11", random. But she has like taller people on her side.
Yeah.
But with me and my mom, we don't have any tall people on our side.
Right.
And then with her on my fiance's side, there are no tall people either. So
See, I've got brown hair and my wife has almost like black hair, but we have one of our daughters has like really blonde hair. And I always thought that's weird until the joke I always say is I feel like my wife has a little explaining to do as far as what's going on there, but
the milkman, it's the milkman.
Yeah, exactly. It's the milkman. So there is weird things that happen with that sometimes. So you're 851 total at 74 kilograms. Do you think it would ever be possible if you staying in that weight class? You or really anyone, but really the question would be you to hit a 900 kilogram total. I mean, a huge jump there. I'm talking about something big, but a 900 kilogram total, which I think is getting pretty close to like a 2,000 pound total then too, if you're talking pounds.
Yeah, I want to say it is possible. For me, I think it's possible for me for sure. I just have to build my bench better somehow, man. Like I don't think my bench is terrible. It's just whenever I get to comp and I try to set up a certain way, my feet always slip. That's been like my past 4 meets. That's been the problem. Whenever I'm like in training, it'll feel good. If I can feel good as I do on squat and deadlift, and make that feel good on bench, I probably could bench around like that 220 range. And that's all I need to get that 900. Cause I feel like, just training wise, if everything goes good, I'm like, I have everything dialed in. I'm thinking like 325 squat. I want to calculate this now. 325 squat, like a 220 bench, and then like a 350 deadlift. That's 895.
Yeah, so that's right.
So
there.
I would need,
right.
So I need 5 kilos somewhere.
Right.
I probably can add the 2.5 each to the squat and the deadlift.
Right. So there by the math, you can get there actually. You know, it does make sense. None of that seems crazy either. And like you talk about your bench is still, I mean, what did you do about like, was this last meet like in the 420 pound range or something? Yeah,
440.
Like
I hit 200, 441.
Okay. So 200 kilograms. Yeah. So you're not right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, I think I've hit 210 before in training, but that was kind of like my butt came off of the bench, and then it wasn't that hard though. It's just my butt came off the bench, and then like my feet slipped. So like I said, like if I have like good enough leg drive, like the day I hit 851, I had the perfect leg drive I've ever had at a meet. And I haven't had that feeling again in this past year ever, like in training or in comps.
So do you feel like, is it all tricky for you at 5'4"? Like, is the height of the bench ever an issue? Or is like, okay. Have you ever used, like, do some people put something on, like, do you have the option in the IPF to put like an elevated thing under your feet if you want to? Like, have you ever done that before? Or
No, I haven't actually done it for comp. I used to do it in high school, but ever since then, I've never tried it. Maybe I should try because one of the other guys that the shell guy that I talked about, he's hit like 215 in training before, and I think he tried in the meet a few times. He uses blocks, but he's a lot shorter
Okay.
than me though. He's like
Yeah.
2 to 3 inches shorter than me, probably
Okay.
like 3 or 4 inches shorter than me. So
Okay.
like his legs are like very, very short. So he uses them. Maybe I might like, to be honest, it might be a point where I need to just try it just to try it. And maybe like
Yeah.
the blocks won't slide and the carpet, because there's carpet on the blocks that they use at IPF Worlds. Maybe that's
Right.
like a good carpet as well. Like I might have to try it. That might be the one thing that boosts my bench up because that's what he does. And his bench is amazing. So I might have to try it. But yeah, man, it's just the slippage of the foot that's
Yeah.
terrible. And then, but I think to be honest, I say this. I think I've hit 318. That 318 wasn't extremely hard. And if I can just put together another squat block like that, I think 325 will move probably the same way, and that would be good. And then I did try 350 in training. I didn't post it. I got it up to my knees, and
Deadlift
then I failed
350.
it. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
deadlift it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I tried it. It got up to my knees. This was like after I hit. I think I hit 305 for a triple on squat the day before, and then I had benched 210 right before I tried the 350 deadlift. At that point, whenever I started warming up, my erectors and back were dead. Like
Right.
I don't understand how I got past 700 at that point.
Yeah.
In
That's a
358, 771.
770-pound deadlift for anyone that's not
Yeah,
calculating that.
and
Yeah.
I tried it, dude, and my back just gave out. It was like, nah, bro. Like I got it to my knees, and I was just like, no. So like
Yeah.
I feel like fresh, I probably have it. It'll be a grind for sure. RP 11, but I probably like I'll have because I don't have grip issues. It's never grip. It's just that if I get thrown out of position, then it's just messed up that way, and it's never strength. It's either just something like in training, it's just I'm dead, man. The last week of the block, last day, I've PR'd on 2 other things. Like I'm at that point, I'm just gassed, man.
Right.
So hopefully, maybe I'll try it at Sheffield. Maybe I won't, but if it's anything less than 350, I can pull that. 347 and a half, I know I got that. 345, I 100% have that.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Here's a question for you. So we know you're 5'4", walking around at maybe about 170 pounds, give or take a little bit. Anyone that's into powerlifting and knows powerlifting is obviously going to know you and know how strong you are. So I'm not talking about those people. If you walk into like a gym like Game Day Barbell, you know, most of those people are all going to know who you are. So, you know, it's no surprise to them either. But what I'm wondering, do you ever find yourself walking around, like say in street clothes, maybe something a little baggier? You could probably be pretty unassuming, you know, if people don't know you. Like, have you ever been in a gym and, you know, not power lifters, but just like gym dudes will be like, or like you're out at a bar and maybe lifting comes up and they're like, oh yeah, how much do you lift? Or like, how much can you squat? Or how much can you deadlift? Or how much can you bench? And you tell them, yeah, my bench is 440, or my squat 700, or my deadlift is 750 or whatever. Like, have you ever told people numbers and they're like, bullshit? You know, like has that ever come up before?
Not completely recently. I think it's just because we really don't go out like that. So it hasn't happened. But I remember back in 2021, 2022, I was at like a concert, and like I think I had like a tank top on, and this random guy was like, bro, like you're big, like what do you bench? And I was like I think I hadn't benched 200 yet, but I was like, you know, like 420, something like that. And he was like, bro, no way. And like at the concert, I was like, I have a video of it. He was like,
Yeah.
show me the video.
Yeah.
And I show him, and he was like, and he like gets his friends, and he's like, bro, he's like, look at this, look at this, look at this.
Yeah.
And it was like it's so freaking crazy. And I was like, yeah, I mean, but no, yeah, recently though, not really. No one really says anything, because especially because I wear like loose fitted clothes most of the time.
Right.
Someone will be like, oh, I can tell you work out. That's mostly the thing I get. Like we'll go to the nail salon, and then the ladies, like I'll be getting like a pedicure or something. The ladies are like, they do like a massage on my arms. They're like, oh, like you work out. And I'm like, yeah, I work out. My fiance's right there. She's like, who's this lady talking to you? Yeah, that's mostly what I get is just, oh, well, like I can tell you work out. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool. Will you do the World Games then too? Because that's going to be Raw now then. So that'll be 2025 World Games.
Yep, August 2025. Yeah, that's when I know everyone talks about, especially IPF lifters. They talk about the me versus Russ. That's when it's going to happen.
Okay,
like
that's
a
the World
versus
Game. Yeah,
versus
right.
type thing.
Yeah. Okay, but that's really soon after Worlds then.
Yeah, we don't know how it's gonna work. I think if you go to World Games, you might be able to just skip Worlds. But the thing with that is, I don't know if they'll use World Games for a qualifier for Sheffield. Like, because when it comes to it, for Sheffield, the qualifying thing is you have to win your weight class and hit 95% of the world record total. But like most of the lifters that won Worlds, well, top three, because it's top three, whoever podiums at Worlds gets World Game spots. Like those people are all going to go to World Games. So like, do they just skip? All these lifters skip, do they just automatically have to just wait and see if you get a wild card spot at that point? Or like, you want us to do both? Like you want us to go in June and do Worlds and then take a month off in July and then August do World Games? It just doesn't make sense. So maybe they'll push Worlds next year to a different date. I don't know if they have it on the calendar yet. They have an IPF calendar. I don't know if it's on there yet, but yeah, it makes no sense, man, how that's gonna work. Now you just gave me more anxiety thing because now I'm thinking about it. Do I have to do Sheffield in end of January, then do Worlds, and then do freaking World Games right after?
Yeah.
That is not. And then like I have like my wedding, like we pushed the wedding back to 2026 so we can like, because I don't want to cut and have my wedding at the same time and
not be able to enjoy it.
Yeah. And then she doesn't want to have the wedding in the winter time because she wants to have it outside. So it's like all the meets in 2025 are in the summertime basically.
Is it ever not nice in Austin though?
No, we don't want to do it in Austin.
Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. And we don't want to be cold in general. Sometimes it gets cold though, not like freezing cold. Because we met in college in Nebraska. So
where'd you go to school in Nebraska?
Midland University.
Oh, you did? Okay.
That's the powerlifting place. So you did that there.
So so what years did you go there?
2019 to 2020.
So did you ever
2021?
Did you ever spot at any of Jonah Leo's meets in Sioux Falls, South Dakota?
I didn't actually,
because we'd always do the. We're in South Dakota. We'd always do the state powerlifting meet here.
USAPL meet.
And they'd always bring a bus and thrust the guys up. Yeah,
they always bring a team. Yeah, I was, I hate to say it, I was one of those guys. I was like, "Hey, bro, I'm sorry, I'm not going."
I don't blame you.
You want to talk about cold? Come to South Dakota in the winter, and then like it's definitely cold. Yeah,
that's built different. In the Midwest, bro, I'm okay. Y'all can have that, bro. Y'all built different out there. I'm okay.
Awesome. Well, we really appreciate it. So, Instagram handle. What is your handle? Is it the 74 kilogram lifter?
Yeah, the 74
kilogram lifter.
Yeah, the 74 kg. If you want the YouTube, it's Perk the 74 kg. That's really it, man. I don't really do TikTok like that. I just watch TikTok. Like if you go through my TikTok, it's just like movie stuff, food stuff, and dog stuff. So I really don't post anything on anywhere. But you want to see the lifts? I would check out the YouTube. I try to keep that updated once a week. Instagram, if you want to just see a few lifts every once in a while, there's that. But yeah, man, appreciate you for having me. It was a good little talk.
Yeah, we really enjoyed it. When Sheffield comes around, we're not cheering for Russ. When Taylor comes back, we're not cheering for him. You're the one that's been on the Massenomics podcast now, so we're big team Perk over here from now on. I
mean, you already had me and my coach on. You might as well have us on there together, to be honest. Like,
hey,
let's just Joe
We'll do
would
that
love it
after you win
too.
Sheffield.
Yeah,
How
once
about
you win
that?
Sheffield, that'll be part of the victory lap.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll definitely want to talk about that for the longest, man. He'll
Yeah.
love it.
Awesome. Well, good luck and keep kicking ass. Good job, man.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks.
All right,
Thanks,
thanks.
Cool beans. Cool beans.
Those are cool beans served with a platter of wings.
Yeah, what lemon pepper dry
Lemon
rub?
pepper.
Those are dry rub
Yeah.
cool.
Are you a
beans
dry rub
specifically
guy? I don't
for
know if we've really ever talked about that before.
What I am a guy of is a mix. Just in general in
variety.
wings, I want a variety.
Yeah.
Like what I love about wings is being able to switch back. Like if I order 3 different flavors, I'm not going to eat one, then the other. I want to eat a wing of this, like do the rotation so that they
keep doing the circle. Yep.
and then whatever one that day that I decide I like the best, I'm going to save one of those for the last, like the last wing is going to be, this is the one. Cause I really like buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't like it when I can't rotate out of buffalo.
It can be a
Buffalo
lot.
like gets to be too much.
You get like 15 buffalo wings, all buffalo. That's a lot of buffalo.
The one I find that it's hard to go wrong with that I like pretty much everywhere is honey. What is it? Honey barbecue or whatever.
Yeah.
Honey barbecue. I feel like that's a staple at a lot of places. Like everyone
is.
has that. That's in
still-
Buffalo, and everyone has those too. You know, so
Buffalo is still always my go-to. When in doubt, it's
Yeah.
always buffalo. And then
Yeah.
sometimes I'll do like a honey barbecue, but I'm usually like a barbecue first before any of those other ones. But yeah.
What I would use, like if I had my druthers, I'd order some buffalo, some honey barbecue, and then some of a third one that just piques my interest when I look at the menu that I'm
However
like,
you're
yep, I'm
feeling
going
that
with that
day.
one today. And it could be dry rub. I always really like that because I do not like my saucy wings overly saucy. I don't want my wings to be drenched in sauce. I
don't mind it.
I want it to whisper at me, not
I say,
scream.
let's sauce it up, baby. Let's get this going. My wife's family, though, they're all big dry rub people. They all like. So
I like the idea of dry rub more than I actually like them when I get them.
Oh,
I think
that's
is what happens.
I don't mind one or two of them, but
like these are really dry.
Yeah, after like 6 of them, you're like, okay, yeah, this like some liquid here would be nice.
Right. And for the record, as we've discussed, I do like flats better, but I still like the mix. The best to me
I do
is
too.
a mix.
I'm
could go about.
I'm about 50-50
60% flats would be my
I'm like
preferred mix on the platter.
I'm like riding the line on that one. I just for me,
you would
what
like
makes,
it.
What
But
makes
if you
both of
could
them
pick
good-
your exact numbers, you want them to be half and half.
Yes,
Like
yes,
if you're
if I
getting
can
10
pick.
wings, you want it to be 5 and 5.
Yep, if I can pick, I want it half and half, and
And I want it to be 6 and 4 or 7 and 3, one of those two, and I'd be because I want to be able to switch eventually. I want to be like,
it's
okay,
the variety. Gotta have that.
Yeah. It's the spice of life. It's the spice of wings.
The dry spice of life.
Yeah. Big Austin, hell of a good guest.
Oh
wasn't
yeah,
he isn't. It is insane how strong he is.
It just does not make sense. Like it is just so crazy.
Like the number of people that are way larger than him that I consider to still be really strong, and he's still stronger than them.
I know.
Like
it's just so insanely
like
strong.
he squats. If you just quit thinking about it in the terms of IPF worlds and all that stuff, like the guy squats 700 pounds. He benches like we're talking about like 450.
Yeah.
And he deadlifts like 750 or whatever it is. Any of those numbers individually is
like Tanner,
really
on your very
awesome.
best day, you kind of hang with him on 2 of the lifts.
Exactly. Like, and I am enormous compared to him.
I mean, like 100 pounds more than him.
Right. And like a foot taller. And I have 2 lifts that I might, on the perfect day for me, I could coin flip them of who's going to be able to do more.
Right.
And one of them, he's just got my ass kicked.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
it's
not that I'm like world's strongest man or anything, but I'm
just
not
saying
like
from a
the
size
world's
comparison
weakest man
standpoint
either.
here,
Right.
though.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, and that's kind of my point. Like, I know a lot of really big guys that are very strong that would struggle to keep up with him on a lot of stuff, and
yeah,
I mean, that's why he's the world champion also, too.
The freak of freaks. I mean, that's
it is the mix, like he said, though, like he was talking about his fiance, and it's like, no, I mean, he even kind of said it's like, oh, I guess I just it all kind of worked out for me. I had the leverages and, then I work really hard. And I'm like, yeah, that takes all of those things if you're going to be like that good at, you can't just work hard. I promise you that. That is not enough to be really good, because I've seen people that work really hard that suck at powerlifting,
Or people that are really strong but just can't take the grind of year after year of doing
That's
powerlifting
true too.
too.
Yeah. And I don't want to sound too harsh, maybe not suck at powerlifting, but just are never going to,
world class.
Yeah. Right.
This episode is also brought to you by Barefoot Shoes. Barefoot shoes are our favorite barefoot footwear to wear in and out of the gym. Tanner and I are both huge fans of the Ursus line, to the point where we even made our own Ursus shoe called the Ursanomics. Probably can't get one of those now. They're kind of sold out, but
there's literally one pair, I think,
is
left
there?
in like a small size. I thought the last time I checked there was one pair. I took it off
go
our
on and buy
site
it as a
because
collector's item.
you have to go. You can't click through to our site because I'm like, I don't think this is even like a viable thing anymore.
But they do have a lot of really great options to pick from. There is the Ursus shoe, like I said, that we like to wear. It is available in high top and low top, both a suede and canvas option. There is the Bruin boot, which we love to wear in these harsh Dakota winters. There's also the Oso slip-on if you want something a little more casual that you can get on and off whenever you need to. And I wish I knew how to say this other one, the Ursa Day, I believe is what it's called, which is like
I think that's right.
With their new kind of like a more water-resistant shoe. It's like an Ursus high top, but it has some more
I don't know if you can buy. I think you could. I don't know if that's a live item or yet or not.
Yeah, it's still for pre-order. But
okay,
if you're listening to this and you're interested in the Barefoot, you might be a pre-order type of guy. And the shoe does look pretty cool. So I'm very curious to see how these turn out, because I could see really wanting a pair of these this coming winter here. But if you'd like to get a pair of Barefoot shoes for yourself, head on over to barefoot.store. And while you're there, make sure to use code Massenomics to save 10% on your next order. That's barefoot.store, code Massenomics, save you 10%. Thank you, Barefoot Shoes.
LeBron drafted Bronny.
I see that. Hey, good for him, man. I don't care. I don't care about the Lakers. So yeah, do your thing over there.
I mean, that's the most interesting storyline, though. Anyways, too. Like, I want to see a father, and like, that's insane.
It is so insane. And what actually
Ken
would be
Griffey
amazing?
Jr.
What would be amazing if all of a sudden he goes there and it's like that was the missing piece, and now Bronny's scoring like 15 points a game all of a sudden.
Yeah, that's
don't think
probably
that's going to happen.
But that is super interesting. Ken Griffey Jr. is the only other one I'm aware of that junior and senior played together.
But also the physical demands of baseball are a little different than basketball.
Way different, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy. We did talk about IPF Worlds, obviously quite a bit there with Big Austin. We also mentioned Big Jessica. I didn't really have much else to mention other than Russell, or he did not win. Mm-hmm. Like, that was like the other biggest story line.
It seemed like that was the big upset that people kept mentioning.
Yeah, that's what I seem to notice. And then to get really, really super political, like we usually like to, I was going to mention tonight is, well, I'm sure it's over now. They're probably all those old bastards, I'm sure, fell asleep long ago.
Put them to bed hours ago.
Those guys got put to bed a long time ago. But it was the first presidential debate. And had we not, I never watched stuff like that because quite honestly, there's very few people that care less than I do. But I did want to watch this in the way that you want, like if you see cop sirens and something going on, like a crash.
There was a bad accident.
I
have to go see what this is
where
about.
you're like you can't not gooseneck your head to see what you're like, your purely curiosity. And like, I did have a little of that thought where I'm like, God, I got to see this a little bit in person, just as like to make sure this is real. This is really what's happening.
It just feels like, I know it feels so made up at this point. We're just,
is like South Park had it so right. Like now, almost like 20 years ago now, when I don't even know who the two candidates were at that point in time, but it was, I don't know if it was Bush and Gore or if it was then Hillary Clinton and whatever the ones were. I'm not picking a side, because what I liked that it was a turd sandwich versus a giant douche. And I'm these are the best two options you could give us was a turd sandwich and a giant douche. And we have to figure out which one we like better. Like that is still, there's an aura of truth around that.
Oh yeah.
Today and it's really easy to complain about it in that sense and be like, oh, they both suck. Because I kind of, not even thinking politics, but I don't really like the attitude people have when it's like, oh, they always give us crap. Everything sucks. But I am like, this seems like, who's writing this script here?
Yeah. I mean, you always want to say like, come on, like our best and brightest, like, come on, like we got so many exceptions. We're in a country of exceptionalism over here. We have so many exceptional people, and like, really, this is where we're at. But I mean, we're not saying anything that should be new or
no.
This shouldn't be a revelation to any.
That's about as political as I get, as being, I'm just purely curious because of the sideshow of it.
The train
Like, I'm
wreck
just
of it
like,
all.
yeah, yes. But what's not a train wreck is Juggernaut AI. It's we talked quite a bit, or not quite a bit this episode, but over the last few episodes about your training, and you are officially in peak of Juggernaut AI.
Peaking,
AI
baby,
right now.
bringing that package together.
And it, no doubt, at least anecdotal evidence right here on the Massenomics podcast seems to be working really well for you. You had that was that a 315?
Yeah, we'll talk about this after the ad. This is going to kind of go into this, but we were talking about this offline a couple days ago, and there's something though about once you maintain a certain level of strength, getting back to it is just so much easier than the first time around of getting there.
I think that's even supported with like scientific evidence. I know it to be true just from like experience of others. I
told you before this prep, I had not squatted over 315 on my back in over a year. And all of a sudden, over the course of 3 months, I went from not even squatting 315 to doing 425. In 3 months. Like that doesn't, like obviously there was more there. I wasn't pushing it before, but just the fact that you can tap into that quickly, it kind of is crazy.
It is kind of crazy. What's maybe the only thing more insane than that is if you go to juggernautai.app and sign up and you use discount code Massenomics, you actually save 10%. And with that's what's crazy. And with that discount of 10%, it puts the monthly membership right around $30. And for prices that criminally insane, Chad should be thrown in jail, locked up, throw away the key. Leave that guy in jail for only charging $30 a month.
Just sit in there.
Let that guy rot
until he figures out what he's done.
Yes, because that should be criminal. I'm not really sure who he's robbing other than himself in that scenario, but that is way too cheap for what you're getting. That's an extreme value buy. Juggernautai.app.
Should I read another ad right now or should I wait?
I don't know. I don't really even know why I did mine right there. I just thought
I'll wait a little bit. Maybe we should talk about training for a minute though, because you've been hitting some big lifts. We've already talked about my squat.
But what? So you did a bench 315 single. What did you mark that as an RPE?
A 9.
Like that. What was it supposed to be?
I'm kind of confused, sort of, at this stage in Juggernaut because it's weird when I open it up to rate it, it just by default has a 7 rating on there, and I'm like, I don't know if it's telling me that like that's what it thinks it should.
But was
be,
it telling you 350? Did it say 315?
It specifically told me to do 315 as my lift.
Gotcha.
Right. I mean, it definitely couldn't have done 3 of them.
No, I don't think it would be saying that should be.
I felt pretty confident saying if I was going to go touch and go on my second rep, I feel very confident that my second rep was there.
Right. It looked really fast.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't really look hard.
I surprised myself. Like I was pretty worked up for that one because the last time I benched 315 was the last testing day I did with Juggernaut, which is closing in on 2 years ago here.
Right.
And I mean, that was an absolute RPE 10 lift that day. It was, my butt came up. It was touch and go. I mean, it wasn't like sloppy, but it was, I had no, like 5 more pounds wouldn't have moved. And I benched through, like in the gym, best bench ever in the gym is 350s. Like I've benched over 315 multiple times.
What's your best bench in a meet though?
I think like 325. I always miss my third attempts in meets.
Yeah, so it's realistic that you could hit like a meet bench PR then.
I mean, I could be right in there. Like after taking this 315, I'm like, I don't know. That's
probably 325. But in that last meet, you took a pretty significant jump
'Cause
there.
the
You
320
missed
that's the thing.
342.
Yeah, because the 325 moved so easy in a bench. Yeah,
Right.
so I went for 342 and it wasn't there, which I think the next one down would have been there, which is probably like 336 or something like that.
Right. But like a 330 bench would be an all-time PR for all-time meet PR.
Yeah, I mean, just that next step above 325. But
right.
So yeah, bench is feeling good. Like I'm feeling pretty hopeful on that one. And yeah, 350. I'm just looking at this. I'm like you had just said, I'm within just a few pounds of my best meet bench ever. And
right.
So those numbers are just going great. Those are feeling really, really good. I had not done that. 315 was the first like touch and go, or sorry, pause rep. And again, it was pause in my own gym, so it wasn't like a 2-second pause or anything.
It was a pause.
But there was a pause.
Like it was
yeah,
definitively a pause.
And that was the first pause. I have not been doing any pause, and that was the first pause I had at all in this prep. I'm like, okay, actually, I don't think that really tanked my bench at all. Normally, I do take a decent hit on pause, and I don't think it's there this time. So maybe that is part of that, all that Spoto pressing. Maybe that is paying off. Which does make sense.
Would say, yeah.
I think I told you, I'm like, after a certain point, after all this Spoto, I kind of feel like it's just sort of the same as my regular one, which I don't think I would have said that a couple of years ago.
So it's all steam full ahead.
Hope so. Got a deadlift tomorrow, and then I mean, it's really like 2 weeks. It's really 2 weeks left, and then you're kind of in full on. I mean, we're just out of time. Then it's
that is kind of the thing that is getting to be out of time.
But you had a big safety squat bar day.
Yeah, I did 455 for a set of 5, which is really, squatting is never easy for me. I guess it's never easy for anyone when you're going hard, right? But that was a really good set for me.
That's getting up there for that, though. Isn't it?
I don't know. I tried to look back because I remember a couple of days in the before we had expanded to gym 3.0 and we're still in 2.0. I remember that super heavy rack in the middle of the room. I remember I had videos where I did some pretty heavy safety squat bar in there, but I think I've officially now done more on the, like heavier sets than I've ever done before. I'm not positive on that. I couldn't find it, but I think it probably is the heaviest I've done. I don't think I would, we talked about it. I don't know if it was on the podcast or otherwise, but I don't think if I put the barbell on my back, safety squat bar is harder. You're going to do less weight than you can on a barbell back squat. Like it's harder for almost everyone. I think that's fairly universal. Although I don't think I would just next week put the barbell on my back, roll back and do it like 50 pounds more.
Right.
It would take like a training cycle. Right.
Because you have taken a while off from that.
Right. Like, whereas the safety squat bar is what feels normal to me at this point, so it would take me some time. But that being said, it seems like if I did that, my back squat would get to a level that's probably getting up there with what it's been before.
Yeah, it seems like if you could make the transition and things do feel good, that your squat should blow up.
Yeah. I'm not really aiming for that though, because I am my shoulder is bugging me just a little bit.
So what do you think's causing that?
Just the heavier pressing, I think. I was pushing my bench. I really shouldn't necessarily. I don't have a strong reason to push my bench that much, other than I'm feeling.
Other than you go to the gym, so that's what you do.
Right. And so I don't think it's really the my overhead pressing, my log pressing. I don't think that's bothering it that much. It's really the benching. So I kind of drew back on the bench a little bit to try and hopefully save my log press.
Yeah, probably not a bad move at this point.
Right. But it's just like you can take the Powerlifter, or you can, whatever the saying is, well, I can't, it's really hard for me to not bench heavy because I love it. So then like, if I'm feeling good, I want to bench heavy, but I actually kind of just maybe pulling back on that for a few weeks because everything else is going good. My deadlift, every time I have a deadlift set, I'm like, I'm not saying it feels easy, but I get done and I'm like, that felt really right. Like it felt like
the best feeling you could ever have.
Yeah.
Like that's keep that going.
So I am considering one heavier deadlift set of 5.
Still one more, huh?
One, I'm considering it. I don't need to because
I'm closing in on the 600 mark at that point then, don't you?
That's what I would really like, I would do that if the day that I go in there and I feel awesome, I would potentially try that. Only if I feel like I know if I try it, I'm going to get it.
Yeah.
And that seems weird because you'd never really know. But like, for me to get that, I have to kind of know that I'm going to get it before I get it, or else I'm going to go and it's going to go disastrous.
Right.
I don't know if that makes sense.
So,
like,
I mean, you got next week or like maybe the week after.
It would be this next. It would be this next week.
Yeah, because actually because
I'm not going to do it
I'm going to be in Aberdeen, and actually, I believe on Juggernaut next week is my last like heavy deadlift day. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, you're right. And then I've played with the Atlas stones a few times.
Oh.
My biceps are very touchy.
Dude,
on that.
I've never in my life ever, when people talk about like bicep pain and stuff, I've never in my life ever had that, except the one day I was repping the stones, and the next day I'm like, oh, that's what that feeling is, because that does not feel good.
No, mine are very touchy to the Atlas stones. Actually, what happens is they get touchy from the log press.
Oh, they
not
do.
the press of the log, but it's the clean.
Oh,
this of just like this,
holding it in tight there.
This extreme tightness, and then probably not using perfect form, and then I end up a little bit of this with like a lot of weight.
Yep.
A little bit too much of this. I don't really feel it that much on the log press, but then when if a day later I'm doing stones, I'm like, whoa, why do my biceps feel like that? Like, that is not what they should be feeling like right now. But I kind of switched around the way I'm training that a little bit and feel decent about the stones. And I feel with my deadlift going well, my squat and my safety squat, a big reason to do the front squat or safety squat bar is that I think it's a better, more helpful accessory for something like a stone lift than a full-on low bar back squat. And I don't know if that's accurate or not, but that's what I feel like. And I don't know, something feels right with what I'm doing when I go to do, as long as my biceps hold up to the occasion, the Atlas stone lifting, I'm like, oh boy, that something feels really good about that when my biceps don't hurt.
What weight are you going up to here that you're training?
So, just the 260 is all the heavier I've had to train up to. And it feels like I can do that a lot of times.
Yeah.
I know after this last week, I can do that a lot of times. I'm actually slightly scared of how many times I could maybe have to do that for my body, because it is like it can.
My body will quit before my mind will.
But I have to be very careful about my biceps, which is just one of those, we talked about it with Perk there too. It's when you get older, 10 years ago, been a little less worried about, I don't have to think about that. Yeah. Let her rip, an interesting choice of words actually in that scenario.
No pun intended.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I say all that to say my training is going really good. I'm just having to be, just the older I get, the more particular you have to be about all the last little details, especially towards the end. Yes. Right. So it's going good, and a bunch of people in the gym, whole bunch of them that are competing in this meet. It's always fun. There's a good environment around when a whole bunch of people, it's a lot of new faces. When I say new, not all brand new to the gym, but like there's a bunch of people that are coming from the gym that are going to be doing their first meet, or, that haven't maybe been, not the old guard, not all the old guard necessarily. So there's like a lot of new
fresh
people
meat
getting involved. Yeah. And they're all training really hard. So that's fun to see, seeing people bust out the singlets every once in a while now. And,
even singlets. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Damn, they are getting after it.
Yeah. So it's getting serious. Nobody is holding back now from what I've seen.
Whew, love it.
I told you about this the other day. I got a big day in my office. I got a new chair.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
A new office chair.
Yeah. So,
do you remember what you knew about it? You know more about than I do.
You have
what
the
chair?
Herman Miller Embody chair, which,
yeah,
if anyone, actually people that game, they make a gaming version of that chair as well, I believe, which just means it's in a different color. But if you're into the office chair, gaming world, any of that, you might know this chair has a pretty legendary status as being about the most expensive chair. And a lot of people say it is the best chair. So and when I say most expensive, retail's about $2,000. So like these are not cheap pieces here.
Right.
I'm very
This
curious.
is a $2,000 office chair.
Yes. You've had this almost a week. I'm really curious what your review is so far.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. So the day of when we rolled it in, I rolled my old one out and rolled this one in. I didn't think that much of it. I thought, well, and also my old chair was, I'm sure, a very expensive chair also, but it's probably like 12 years old, you know? And so I don't know. It's maybe it's more
hours a week for 12 years.
Right. It's certainly been used, but actually hold up really well. Like I can see how that probably was an expensive chair, because your average $250 one, if it got used like that one did for over a decade, it would
just
literally just be in pieces. Like it would just have been, nothing would be workable on it. And this like pretty much looks like it did the day it was new. So it's very heavy duty, but I was skeptical at first of this new chair. And I'm like, how can this thing cost? Why would this ever cost $2,000?
Yes,
Like,
and so where?
How?
Also, okay, so like I work in my home office,
right.
which means I have a lot of control over my environment. So like I went through the whole chair, because I did the same thing when I first started. I bought the $50 chair off of Amazon.
Right.
Like, this is all I need to get going, which is true. That's all I need to get going.
Right.
But after a while, I'm like, no, like this is actually where I spend the majority of my waking life. Like, I should make this environment as pleasant
like almost
as
a
possible.
third of all hours of your life.
Yes. Like, I spent so much time
yeah.
here. So I did so much research on chairs. That one was high on my list. And I think at that time it was like 1,500 or 1,600.
Right.
I just couldn't bring
It's just
myself.
a price
it was
discussion.
Just so much
right.
money. I couldn't bring myself to do it.
Right.
The chair I have is the steel case gesture, and I was just looking. I ended up getting this chair for like $900. Now it looks like it's like a $1,300 chair. I don't know if that's one of those COVID things, but so I have a nice
with everything going on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy with this chair. I like it a lot, but I could still see myself, based off of what you say here, maybe having an embody someday.
Okay, so, what I would say where it hit me the most is the second day when I came into my office in the morning and I sat down in it after not having sat in it since that prior day. And I thought, oh my God, this feels good.
Oh,
like,
really?
I was like, this feels really different. And then every day now, when I first go in there in the morning, it catches me off guard every time. And I'm like, wow. Every time I'm like, wow, this is nice. I'm like, there's something about this that just feels really good. And it's like, keeps my back, like,
See,
it's stupid, but it keeps my back in like a more ergonomic, like I'm like, can't not be in that position or something. I don't really know.
Okay. So all right. That makes me feel, that gets me more interested, because there's several podcasts I listen to where the guys all own embody chairs. And for the most part, these are guys that are like, probably, I don't know for sure, but like 5'6" and 150 pounds. And that is such a different, they don't work
mostly
out.
all
Like,
the chairs are going to work for you, man.
yeah, like I'm like, your
Like, when
body
you're-
type couldn't
yeah.
be more different than mine. Like you're just
Right.
you're a very different shaped person than me. And so I've always wondered, a bigger because I have heard some people say that the back isn't very wide on that chair, and so you might notice that a little bit as
it
bigger
looks
person.
not wide. Like it visually like like there's like a weird taper to it.
Yeah.
But it's been unnoticeable to me.
Okay,
In like
and so-
actual,
but
but it
that's-
definitely like at first I'm like, why is it so narrow as it gets to
because
the
it does
top?
look
But I
narrow
just-
from behind.
Right. Right. It looks odd almost.
But that's what I've heard so many people say, that is like, you go to sit in it and you're like, I almost feel better sitting in this than when I don't sit in it.
Like I'll sit there and like spin back and forth and be like, woo, like, all right. Like, and after a while, like you know, you get to working and you forget about it and stuff. But like every day in the morning when I first get in there, I'm like, oh, wow, this is something. The one thing, there's a ton of adjustments on it. I had to read, like, actually to, you know, wrap my head around the adjustments. The only thing I don't like is, you know, the main adjustment that every chair has, the up down.
Oh yeah.
It's just like this weird little joystick thing.
Oh.
And I'm like, the regular lever works on all the other, like, why is this different? And there's probably some reason to that.
To be different, probably.
Yeah, but I'm like, I don't like it. It seems like it would be more likely to break than the old standard version. But that's my only real criticism. And the price.
Okay.
The other thing I was going to note.
pay for it, which is
well, it's really funny when you do have to pay for something that's really nice, you get it. Like if you bought this chair or I bought this chair and brought it home, you would like, and you're like taking just like the most delicate care of it and be like, you're going to sit down and be like, okay, let me know everything about this $2,000 chair.
Right,
like,
I am going to
the expert of this chair.
We are partners in crime together now.
Yeah. But then conversely, you wheel a bunch of them into an office full of a bunch of office workers. People just start being like, oh, let me flip this, I'm
sure they're
like,
already just putting them
almost
to their paces.
throwing it and just being like plop down in it and be like, oh, how do you run this thing? And just start like
just banging
pressing
playing like bumper cars with it.
And like even experiencing that myself a little bit. And it's just like, you don't really take care of stuff. Even if you're responsible, you don't do it
you have
the
a different
same
attitude. Well, and a lot of people probably also don't realize that they're sitting in like a $2,000 chair.
No,
either.
and I only knew that because I was like, me being me, I'm like, what is this chair here?
Probably the amazing thing you said is like the office bought. How many of those did you figure?
Oh, a lot, a lot. I'll just say a lot.
Yeah,
the dollar amount of chairs would have been, and I'm sure when you're buying that many through whoever you buy that many,
a bit of a deal. But I don't think you're getting them half off. Like that seems.
But I can kind like now more than ever. I'm like, maybe it's justifiable a little bit too. Like maybe that it like is like you said, we're there all the time, sitting our asses in there all the time.
This is actually when I bought this chair, because to me, like spending what $900, $1,000, whatever it was, seemed so insane to me. But then I thought for a minute, I'm like, you know what? People spend $50,000 to buy a dumbass vehicle that they like drive.
That you drive for like 30 minutes
a day and they think they need for whatever reason. And I'm like, actually, this makes way more sense. You spend 8 hours a day in it every single day, sometimes more. Like this is
good comparison to me in my mind is your mattress, your bed.
Very comparable to that too. Yeah.
People get wrapped up in like, what do you need those expensive ones for? And then it's like, everyone always says you spend a third of your life, and it's like you kind of do. So all of a sudden, if you're an office worker, you buy a nice chair, you buy a nice bed. You're like, at least for 2/3 of my life, I have things that are going to be like
comfortable.
Yeah, right.
For 2/3 of my sedentary
That being
life.
said, I could really use I desperately need to buy like a new mattress.
Oh, do you?
And I'm actually trying to decide what to, because I'm not going to get a crappy one. I do want to get some, but then I'm like, what is, because it's not definitively, it's not like, yes, everyone agrees.
This is the one. I know, and it just feels like it's just a world full of just marketing and scams and gimmicks.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to consult Pillar 4.
They could help you there. I'm sure they have a lot of affiliate links you can check through too.
Yeah. Yes. I'll talk to Coop about that. Let's see. Was there anything else that we definitely should talk about this week?
We had a certain song that I think should be played.
Oh boy. Yeah. Can we play it?
Can you plug your phone in? I don't have a thing.
Yeah, I can play it.
Do you need me to send you or you got it?
No, I got it.
I think
you probably just won't be able to hear it.
I won't be able to hear it very good, but everyone else will hear it good. We just got to let this thing spin. I think
I've got it ready all the time.
We'll just say, hey, everyone, if you're not in the Discord, this is a world premiere. There's a little ditty written for Massenomics. I think it really captures the Massenomics state of mind. And I think without further ado, Tanner, let her rip.
Here we go. Oh. Damn it. I thought I was so prepared.
Oh, I thought maybe I just wasn't hearing it.
I realized what I was I'm actually plugging into the wrong thing here.
So Tanner is getting the cord ready.
I thought I was going to be so swift. Just
I did. I'm like,
that,
he really is on it over here right now. This is impressive.
Now we're ready.
I think. Now we're ready. Okay. Let her rip.
Cruising in my 69 Chevy, windows down, wind in my hair. Aberdeen, South Dakota nights, man, there's something in the air. Spent all day in Massenomics, lifting heavy, breaking sweat. 12 beers later, man, you know I ain't done yet. Lifting and drinking is all I know. Pop another scene and take it slow. Living easy gets hard when you're going all in. I asked my myself, what would Huck Finn do again? My strength coat plates are made in the USA. Country living, lifting weights and beer all day. Back roads and bonfires, trucks and tire swings, country songs and guitars, hear the night birds sing. Aberdeen's got that magic where the stars align. We're just a bunch of good old boys having a good old time. Lifting and drinking is all I know. Pop another scene and take it slow. Living easy gets hard when you're going all in. I ask myself, what would Huck Finn do again? My strength coat plates are made in the USA. Country living, lifting weights and beer all day. Sometimes I wonder if I'll ever settle down, but for now I'm chasing dreams in this little town. From Massenomics to the bar, it's a country boy's way. Living free and wild, come what may. Lifting and drinking is all I know. Pop another scene and take it slow. Living easy gets hard when you're going all in. I ask myself, what would Huck Finn do again? My strength coat plates are made in the USA. Country living, lifting weights and beer all day. Aberdeen sunsets, Chevy's old and gray, but this country boy's heart will never stray. Lifting, drinking, loving life and the view. Yeah, that's just what a South Dakota boy will do.
And the crowd goes wild. Actually, that was a pretty interesting listen through Zoom because it doesn't play any of the music, so it sounds like an a cappella version. I just hear his voice is all.
Could you hear his voice pretty clearly, though?
Yeah, I heard the voice pretty clearly the whole way through.
So that was Western Northeast South Dakota by Massenomics.
Just a little jingle we penned in our free time over here.
Yeah.
That song, though.
Look for that coming up on more things than...
How about that song, though? Huck Finn. We sent it to Huck Finn, and he said, I fucking love this. And then that was this morning, and then tonight he goes, we need to make a music video of this, which I like that because I'm like, an entire day went by, and he's still thinking about it.
Yep. I asked myself, what would Huck Finn do again? And then just the gratuitous, my strength coat plates are made in the USA slid in there because it's a country song.
I mean, yeah, I don't even listen to country music, and there's certain tropes that you just understand that just work. And it's like, anytime you can get that something USA in there. And when I think of USA, I think of the strength coat. So it was an obvious fit, for them to belong in that song.
That absolutely sounds like something that would play on your local radio station. Your country music, popular country music radio station. Like, if you just heard it, you'd be like, "Oh yeah, we're just listening to the radio." Obviously,
I think it's safe to say there's an untapped market of people making country music geared at people that go to the gym and also like to drink beer. There's a little bit. I believe there's a little bit of like this country party scene that's maybe coming up more, or maybe not. I don't even know actually for sure. But there's not enough people that are combining partying, beer, and lifting in their songs together.
I think one of the more subtle, but probably my favorite line of the whole thing is in the intro when he says, "Spent all day at Massenomics, lifting heavy, breaking a sweat. 12 beers later."
Mm-hmm.
Man, I ain't done yet.
I ain't done yet. I know. That's what's so great.
Did you specifically say 12?
Yes, I specifically wrote.
Did you say 12?
Beers, yes,
because that's what I love about it. That it's 12. Because that's a Massenomics meme in itself is like spending all day in the gym and then drinking
that was 100% where I took it from. I'm like, it works so good though because we have like just this vault of sayings that you can use.
Yes.
And I'm like, yep, 12 beers is a line. Strength coat plates made in the USA because it's a country song absolutely is a line. The song was about drinking beer and
hard
everything.
when you're going all in.
Yeah. That one I put living easy is
and it
hard
kinda
when
took-
question mark because I didn't know how to
Yeah.
end it, and
Yeah.
going all in is actually a good way to do that one. But the what would Huck Finn do? That was a verbatim line I wrote, and like the
Yeah.
main part of the chorus there, living easy.
Lifting and drinking is all I know. Popping others in and take it slow.
That is
Living easy
verbatim. I
gets
wrote that
hard
one
when
in
you're going
exactly.
all in.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, the chorus was exactly ones that I wrote in 100%
country
unchanged.
living, lifting weights and beer all day.
I didn't put those ones together. That did that
But
one
it
for me.
is-
But it just works
Yeah.
so well though. And
Yeah.
the my least favorite line of the whole thing is the something come what may, and I'm like, really, that's like the lamest line.
Yeah,
of the
they
whole
kind of
thing.
use that
But
wrap it up. You can tell there's a few things like that they
yeah,
just
but not many overall though. The song's
Right.
pretty. It's pretty on point, man. I think that speaks
Yeah,
to a
it's
lot
good.
of people right there.
It's good. Look for that in more places. If you find it on Instagram, look for it in some YouTube videos. That is the theme song of the Lift Hard Live Easy Classic
Yeah,
weekend.
probably getting played a decent amount there. Who knows? Maybe
Gonna
it'll
get
show up on
played at-
Spotify or something.
Yeah,
They can
we're
play it at the
we
zoo
got
even.
some things in the work. Yeah, in the zoo. I think at Pounders, at the meet, at my house, the Friday party. You're going to get a heavy dose of that. So, get used to it.
Yeah, and if you're looking for more Massenomics originals, you can hop in the Discord. They heard it first.
Yeah, so just if you're looking for another reason to become a Massenomics supporting member, you just found one. If there wasn't enough reasons already. Did we read all the ads?
No, I actually have one left here
Okay.
still.
Oh, maybe we
This
should bang
episode
it
is
up.
also brought to you by Swisslink.
Yes.
Swisslink has been importing military issue goods to the United States and into the hands of those yearning for quality gear at uncompromised prices for since 1995. They've been at this a while. Tanner, you're the proud new owner of a Swisslink
10-liter Wavian fuel can in black.
and we talked about this last time, but the reviews are in, and you can confidently say it's the best fuel can you've ever owned.
Hands down.
So, I mean, that's just one example. Fuel cans, they got boots, they got socks, they got pants, they got shorts. Maybe you say, I don't want to buy clothes. Okay, you don't got to buy clothes. They got camping gear, survival gear, classic wool blankets. They have other military issue surplus like dining items, gas masks, and bags and backpacks, camouflage.
Bags.
Basically, you think of it, if a military force has it, that probably means Swisslink does too. If you head on over to swisslink.com and use code MASS, M-A-S-S, at checkout, you can save 15% on your next purchase. That's swisslink.com, code MASS, save you 15%. Thank you, Swisslink.
Well, thanks, Swisslink. Also, don't forget, every unpaid and underrated shirt comes with a free Keith Head sticker. Important to note. And shout out again for everyone that supported us on this drop so far. I was just looking again, and amazing, great success. So thank you to everyone that supported and that would like to continue to support. If you want to support Massenomics, you could buy some of our merchandise. That'd be a great way. Any of the new stuff, any of the old stuff. Buy yourself a drink spotter if you don't already have 10 of those. Get your 10. You could leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. That would be something. We'll take that.
those.
You could leave us a rating on Spotify for the Massenomics podcast. You could do that. You could become a supporting member. That's probably the best way to support us. It's right in the name. That's why they call it a supporting membership. You go to massenomics.com/join. That's where you can sign up. We've got a number of different options. If you've been around and listening for a while, we'd love to have you join. And it's not a one-way street. We do try to make it worth your while. So one of those things is you get access to our Discord. It's the only way you get access to our Discord is by becoming a supporting member. You get to listen to the podcast live each week. You get a few times a year we send out special gifts that only you get in on. You get early access to our drops. You get another really cool feature of that is like if you get in on the Lift Hard Live Easy Classic, you get early access to that. And then also like there's through the Discord, everyone's talking to each other like in preparation for the making travel plans and all that stuff. It's just kind of adds to the experience.
The
when
inside
you
track.
come. Yeah. Is that kind of the best? Oh, the other one, this may be growing in importance, is become a subscriber to our YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah.
If you're
Please
not
do that.
watching the YouTube, please do. We have new videos every single week, along with the podcast video that's on there every week. If you've never watched the podcast before, I saw a couple of comments just this week. We're getting more and more watchers of our podcast all the time. That's growing. And I saw a comment and someone said, I've been listening to the podcast for years. I've never watched it on YouTube. I came over to watch it, and I got to tell you, after seeing the intro, instead of just listening to it every year, that really pieced a lot of things together for me. Like, it was like that really puts it in a different light.
That could be a very confusing intro, if you'd never see, like we've only ever known it from being visual,
right?
Because it was all taken from video clips. So I can see how, as an audio only thing, it could be a little confusing. I never thought of that.
Yeah, and then he said, "Oh, watching that really, I really get it now." So yeah, do check out our YouTube channel, become a subscriber, maybe share something about it, whatever it is, to help us get the word out about our YouTube. We're putting out quite a bit of effort into that, honestly.
We have been.
And that, what is that? Just about it?
I got to say one more thing, Tanner.
Okay.
Okay. So when I was making that little song the other day, when I say the other day, I mean last night. Should have been.
I loved that one the first time I heard it. Even I was like,
okay. So I'm making this. I'm having. Yeah. So my wife was working. It was her night to work last night. So I'm putting the kids to bed, and we were kind of joking about. Because I'd made another song for the for the lifting vlog, and gotten several comments, people texting me how much they loved it.
Yeah.
And like, I think we got to make more of these things. And we were kind of sending some text back and forth, and then so I'm putting my boy to bed. While I'm in his room with him, laying there, I'm kind of thinking through some things in my head, and I just have these ideas. We just explained all the one-liners. They're all hitting me in my head, and I'm like so wired. Probably didn't hurt that I had some vasoblitz and full blitz running through my system, and I had a 315 bench earlier in the day. Let's just say
that
a lot of things
things
were firing on all cylinders.
Yeah,
and I'm just having these like one-liners just fire off, and I'm just like putting them in my phone, like, oh yeah, that's a good one, that's a good one, that's a good one, and I'm just like, my brain's feeling like it's working at a higher level. I'm just like getting so amped. And I really actually had to come down to my computer to work on a client project because I had to have something done by 8 a.m. this morning. But before I could even get to that, I had to have the song made. Like, it had to happen.
I know that feeling sometimes. Yeah.
So I'm like just doing it. And really, I got to ask you, have you ever seen the movie Hustle and Flow?
Oh, what is that? I got to look that up.
It's an absolute classic. If anyone has not seen it, you got to go watch it. It's Terrence Howard, DJ Qualls, and Terrence Howard is like a pimp, and he's deciding he's going to change his life around, and they make some music. It's hard out here for a pimp. There's that one, and then there's
I can't say if I've ever seen that entire movie. I guess I'd say no. If we're playing the game.
So that movie,
I feel like I know about it.
I think it said it came out in like 2005.
Yeah,
I watched it. I remember in college, so probably 2007 or 8. Probably watched it, and I remember at the time thinking, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. This movie's so good because they're like making beats and the songs like go way too hard for a movie, and they're so good. And then DJ Qualls, which if people don't know, he's the skinny guy from the movie The New Guy. He's like he was also in Road Trip in like the early 2000s.
Right.
He was the guy you would get to be the nerdy guy in a movie. And in Hustle and Flow, DJ Qualls is like the producer, and so he's on the drum machine like going. So it's all these black people and just DJ Qualls, the skinny token white guy. And I was like, I'm sitting down here making these stupid country songs. I'm like DJ Qualls and Hustle and Flow right now. I'm just having the time of my life. And that scene popped in my head, so I had to go watch it on YouTube. And man, still holds up. Still so good. Still great. So I guess what I'm trying to say is,
you felt a little like that. Hustle and Flow.
Go watch Hustle and Flow, and then go make some songs. You're gonna feel really inspired. It's a great time. But yeah, I was just like riding. So I make that damn song. I'm like, someone's got to hear this. It was like getting close to 10 o'clock, and I'm like, Tanner could be sleeping right now.
I was actually out playing basketball. That's why I didn't get back right away. You know, because I came back in and you had sent it a while ago.
Yeah,
because I don't know if you knew there was a notice.
Well, there was because I'm like, he's not replying. He's definitely sleeping. Okay, he goes to bed early sometimes. I'm like, well, Tanner, also knowing him, he's gonna wake up at 2 a.m. and hear this and have trouble going back to sleep. He's gonna like it so much. No. But then you messaged me, so I'm like, someone's got to hear this. I messaged Grant. Grant doesn't reply either, but he's also an hour ahead. So then I'm like, I got to text my wife. I texted to her, but she's working, so she probably doesn't have her phone. So no one's replying. I'm like, I'm the only one that can listen to this. I got to hear someone's feedback. And then finally, you like reply. You're like, holy shit, me and Mary listened to that. That's insane.
We had been playing basketball outside, and he came inside to that, and I was like, And I started listening to it, and then I was like, Mary, come over here. You're gonna you have to listen to this. And we got a really good kick out of it. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
You mentioned Terrence Howard.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know about Terrence Howard?
I mean, I've heard a lot of people talk about his Joe Rogan episode lately, but I didn't listen to it at all.
I haven't watched the episode either, but
I've seen a few movies with him in him. Like, he's always good in movies, but I don't know much about him though.
Like, I'm just one excerpt here. Howard made the bold claim that gravity is fake, suggesting an alternative force at play. He believes that he could rebuild Saturn without gravity, describing an inward-outward force that shapes planets without relying on gravity, dark matter, or dark energy. He showed how this works using an on-screen simulation.
I mean, I'm not going to claim that I know how any of that stuff works, but I also feel like the people that do know how that works have like a really, really deep understanding of how a lot of things work. And I'm not sure any actor is qualified to
That's what I was gonna
have
say.
a strong input.
That's
on
what I was
that.
going to say. And what do you mean they're usually not actors?
I mean, they're typically probably mathematicians or physicists first, and like actors like second or third. You know?
Yes. They're probably, if they know that, their name's probably Stephen Hawking or
something along those lines. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, so Hustle and Flow, Terrence Howard. I checked both of those off of the list. Western, Northeast South Dakota, the banger of the summer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hopefully coming on Spotify at some point in time.
We're gonna see what we can do here.
Yep. And
I could talk about more stuff here. My wife. I was worried earlier. This doesn't happen often to us when we podcast, but my wife.
Oh, I actually forgot about it. No issues, huh?
No issues, and I did get the notification that the garage door opened about a half hour ago.
Oh,
so that really.
We made it.
That really took the pressure off of me. Actually, we'll be talking about this a lot as time goes on. But I've been watching the Olympic trials, man. Oh, I just love the Olympics.
Deanna Price at all?
I did go.
She made the Olympics.
So actually, when I say I've been watching the Olympic trials, I mean at the end of the day, at night when I'm winding down, I go onto YouTube and I go to the CBS Sports channel, and they have of the basically highlights of noteworthy events. And so they did have the hammer throw one. So she got second.
Yeah.
So I did catch that, but just track and field. I could watch track and field all day. I just love watching track and field. Maybe it's because you don't see it on TV very much, but it's so good in so many ways. What's so good? I mean, this could be a whole episode. I could go on for on. I'm just trying to think of like the way to break this down. There's a few things. One, it is just amazing in track and field how basically genetics are first and foremost, because everyone in the events essentially has the same body type, so it's like already you have to have the correct body type to even be at this level. Like with incredibly rare exception, everyone is like, some of the events you're like, I don't know, it's just like 8 clones of the exact same person out there. It just, everyone has the same body structure. And that follows all events from the 100 all the way to like a 5,000 meter or longer race.
Yeah.
It's just
they are
everyone
all like the same.
Yeah. You don't have anyone that you're like, oh, I can't tell if you're like a long distance runner or a sprinter. I really can't, that's not a thing,
Nature and training has selected all the people that are all like exactly the same.
It does. So that
are the best at it.
And then also at that level, when you start looking at it, the sprints especially, once you really start paying attention to it, you see the guys go, and you can actually, some of the races are really close, but usually there's a clear visual distinction between like first and fourth. Like, all right, that guy's clearly 2 steps faster than the rest.
Right.
But then when you see the time, you're like, actually,
it's barely different.
The difference that's separating these guys is a lot of times less than a tenth of a second.
Right.
And then you start to think about it from a percentage standpoint. It's like, actually, the difference between being the best in the world and being like even eighth in the world is like, I don't know, is it like a tenth of a percent? Like, you're a tenth of a percent. Like, you're not 1% better. Like, you're a tenth of a percent better. Like, that's so crazy that is actually the deciding factor. And at that level, it's actually a big visual difference too, is less than a percent better is noticeably better. But it's just, it's so crazy that is what that comes down to. I've just been watching because so far they've had a bunch of the sprinting ones. So watching the sprinters, and it is cool because sprinting does have all these big personalities, it attracts that.
Sprinting, I think, is the biggest draw of the Olympics.
It is.
probably.
And actually, I've been saying watching the Olympics, I don't even care about swimming at all. I appreciate those guys. I can respect it, but visually, I don't think swimming is very interesting to watch.
Track is interesting.
Oh, it's interesting to watch. Like you can see it. Everyone relates to it. Everyone's
I like track
done
and
it.
field events both, honestly.
Yeah, people get, even if you're not athletic and you're immobile, you kind of get what it takes to run. And even seeing some of the field events too, like the throwing and the jumping, it's really good. One thing that's really crazy is, I don't know if you saw this, Tanner, there was a 16-year-old that placed 8th for the men's 400. Like 8th in all of America. He's 16 years old. Everyone, the best sprinters in the world, this guy is 16 and he placed 8th. That is crazy.
And the best sprinters in the United States.
Yes, the best sprinters in the United States.
I mean, still.
But yeah, he made the final.
So what state was he from?
I think it was Maryland. I think.
Do you have any idea what his time was? Like, what do you remember? I don't know what the Olympic sprinters run the 400
49 or 48 seconds, somewhere in there, I think.
40 something, I'm sure, but
that's when you watch and you're like, yes, this looks like a child running with men. Like it's.
Did it look like it?
Oh, it looks. I mean, he's got the baby face, the fresh baby face, and he's also sprinters at that level, like men. They have big defined muscles,
right?
And this looks like a boy. Like it looks like a high school boy.
He looking like a man.
Yeah, but pretty awesome that this guy. It said he broke the under 18. World record twice in order to reach the finals. So you would think big things coming for this guy in the future if he could.
You would sure think so.
If he can keep that going.
Do you know about the enhanced games?
No.
The enhanced games is planned international sports event that would essentially like rival the Olympics or take on the Olympics, where the athletes will not be subject to drug testing.
So just untested is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that would be sweet.
It's headed by Aaron D'Souza, an Australian businessman. The event is meant to take place for the first time in 2025. And from what I understand, it's just going to be a few of the marquee events like
sprinting,
the sprint. I think there's a weightlifting thing. There's like 5 or 6
which
or
honestly is kind of not very exciting because like that's already taking place. So that's
right. Well, true. That's a good point. Actually,
the exciting one would be the sprinting. Is like
right. And I think from what I heard, they're offering. I read something about it the other day, but for anyone that breaks an existing Olympic world record, they are going to pay him $1 million.
Ooh,
that's the other thing. It's because they got a bunch of backing, like they got a bunch of money, venture capital money, that like anyone that breaks a real world record, they're going to give up. Like, so the Olympics are like, people are not getting rich off the Olympics, you know.
Yeah. Well, depending on
some people are getting rich in part because of the Olympics, you know, but like a little bit different roundabout way. But yeah. So you've never heard of that before, though?
No, I'm just looking into it right now. I mean, it's this is very interesting. Just as a pure spectator thing, I think. What you don't.
The tricky part is to get the talent.
I know, because that is the balance.
Someone on drugs that's not already like an elite sprinter probably isn't breaking a world record. So it's you have to be. But if there's enough money involved, like maybe it does lure people in at some point in time too.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Right on their website, the second tab, the second page drop down is our plan, and the Safer Sports, pay the athletes. I mean, their whole thing. So Safer Sports, I like this right here. What it says is, let's be clear, drug testing is about fairness, not safety. Depending on how you think about these things.
Right.
There's multiple ways to take that. But then under pay the athletes, it talks about how the IOC is a leech on the athletes and how they takes all the money and the athletes don't. It says 46% of elite athletes in Australia make less than $15,000 a year. Which actually watching this, that is one of those things is, so a lot of the sprinters, the biggest names, they obviously have endorsement deals like crazy. You start looking.
If you're Usain Bolt, you're doing just fine. I think.
Yes, but not even him. Like you just look up at the American people,
right?
And I watch it, and the biggest name guys and girls, they all have a shoe company that's endorsing them, and yeah, okay, they're definitely not getting, or they're probably not getting like NBA money, but I'm thinking they're probably getting decent money for running and not making a whole lot of TV appearances throughout a year.
Right.
And then a lot of them also have, when you go like to the women's pages, they have beauty, sponsorships. The guys ones have ones with like headphones and things like that. So like there is money to be made in endorsements, but I also get that is the vast minority of people. Like that's not the standard. Because like watching that, I'm like, so some of these people though, like the guy, okay, they're trying to make it to the Olympics, and they're talking about, yep, this so and so, he's been having a tough year. He's been running a few races, and we're not sure if he's going to make the cut here. And yep, doesn't place top 3 in the finals, so he does not make the Olympics this year. And I'm like, so what do you do? Do you just go back to training? Is that it? Or do you have a job you got to go back to now? Like what is the next step here? I don't actually.
Probably a difficult road to cross for a lot of them at a certain point.
And actually, you have
to make a decision.
I know there's stuff out there, but sort of an insider on this. My wife's cousin, he ran track at ASU. So he's had a lot of friends that have gone on to be in the Olympics.
Right.
And just through being part of a Pac-12 school, you compete with a lot of Olympians, a lot of people. And he's going to be here next week. So I'm going to ask him, get the inside track on a lot, because he'll know a lot of that.
I think you sell insurance after that, and people, you have a little bit of a name.
Sales right there.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of people probably sell insurance, if I had to guess after that.
That's a very informed guess, yes. But it's and then the other one too is some of these people though, they've also dedicated, like the one lady, she was the world champion last year in the discus, world champ. All 3 of her throws went out of the field of play, whatever they call that.
So she's screwed.
So you're out.
Yeah.
It's like, man, I think it's like annoying to think of like, oh, I've been like dedicating some time to do this powerlifting meet, and if something messed me up, that'd be really unfortunate. And like, no, these people have been grinding away for years and years on end, and this is their one shot. And if they mess it up, they're the other one, her name's like a thing Mo or a thing Mo, I forget how you say her name. She was the Olympic champion in the 800-meter dash from America, clear favorite. In the finals, she gets tripped, falls down, can't make it. It's like, that was your thing. You're the best in the world. You still are the best in the world. You were the best in the world, but someone tripped you in the finals. You're screwed and you're out. Like, man, like not even through really any doing of your own, you're done. So like some of those things, it's just, it's a split second, and that's what changes it forever.
Only for a moment, and then a moment's gone.
Yep.
I have a particularly relevant, almost the same scale as what you're explaining there too. But when I was a senior in high school in South Dakota State Track and Field, I threw shot and discus, and I went to the state track meet, and I had been throwing far enough in regions. The prior meet was regions, and I threw far enough in regions that what everyone else's best throws. They publish everyone else's best throws for the year for everyone that's going to the state. So you kind of know, you're like, hey, if I do well, and even if all these people do well, here's probably where I'm going to place. And, the top 8 place. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I'll probably get, like, I wasn't going to win. Like, under no circumstance was I going to win. But I'm like, I could probably get, like, 4th here. Or 3rd or 5th, like I'm like somewhere certainly have a good chance at making it on the, they let the 8 people stand on the thing and you take the picture. And it turned out like if I would have just thrown what I threw at regions, I would have got 3rd place. And I had never fouled, like ever in my life, fouled on the shot by falling out of the front of the ring. I mean, like very few times ever in my life.
Yep.
But then in the prelim, you do the first round, and if you do well enough, then you make the finals, and then how you throw in the finals is how you. And in the prelims, on all 3 of my throws, I fell out of the front of the ring.
Really?
And I had never done it before. Like, I think I maybe had never done that before. I mean, just very rarely had I ever done it before. But there was something, I was like so amped or something. I don't know, or some variable was different that I couldn't put my foot, finger on. Mm-hmm. And I fell out, and I like fell out the 3rd time. And I'm like, oh my God, if I would have just gotten any of those throws in, I would have been in the finals. Yeah. And, it's a little humorous because I'm talking about a high school right. South Dakota State track meet, but it is the same concept. Yeah. And like, I was definitely sad. I was like, what happened here? Like I absolutely like screwed that up so bad. And then, but that's also what makes that sport interesting of like track, because
the
like the 100-meter dash,
so high.
The tiniest, because you talked about the difference in the 1st and 8th, the tiniest screw up and you won't win.
Yes,
in something like
you
the
would
100
just
meter
have
dash.
a bad reaction time, and actually not even a bad a slightly slower reaction time than what you need, and that's it. But
Right.
what is really, I mean, where the stakes are so high though is with these other people though is if you're someone that's kind of right on the edge and you don't make it, you've been
Then what do you
dedicating
do?
years of your life to this, and it comes down to a single event, and sometimes a single split second in an event is the difference between, yes, things went great for me, and nope, all of that was kind of for nothing. And the stakes are high.
The enhanced games, they said they're not gonna let the shortcomings that the Olympics have dictate how they do things.
Okay.
Just like that, like they're like, no, we're not gonna do it every 4 years. Like people get like, why would we do it every 4 years? We'll do it every year, and we're only just gonna do the events that are really good, but we'll do them every year. And then it's like, well, where are you going to do this at? You know, you need to do it in Paris and they're like, well, we might be able to do it in multiple places. Like maybe, this is 2024. Like maybe the sprint is held in Los Angeles. You know, cause I don't know if swimming's an event as an example, but like, we don't need to build like these $1 billion facilities to have everyone
host,
in this weird
to have
place
70
together.
Events held at it.
Right. Like it's like, we'll just do each event, you know, we'll plan them so it makes sense and it's cohesive, but they don't really have to all be literally in the same city either, which I'm like, yeah, I guess that's true. You know, that is, some of the stuff that they've said that I read about and stuff, some of it makes sense. You know, I'm pretty skeptical of how it all works out in practice, you know, how it all becomes reality and like where the money really is. And like,
well, that is,
no one's just going to throw money at losing things forever.
Right. And who do they get is the other
That's
one.
the biggest thing. Like if you can't get the talent, but I don't know, maybe there's enough money involved that people like, if you're that guy, actually, if you're that guy that was 9th and you're like, I don't know, like, what am I going to do? But then it's like, well, maybe if I took some testosterone, I might be a little bit faster here in
get on
next
some
year.
crazy cycle and peak for this meet. Like,
Right.
Does that work? It seems like the strength ones would be at a crazy advantage. I'm still not sure what the science. I mean, obviously people know that steroids work for strength, but I don't know.
Right.
Do they provide a huge benefit for sprinters? I mean, I would assume.
I think they do
would.
for sprinters because there's so much power involved in that.
I mean, it makes sense.
You know,
it does.
when you talk about like long distance runners, then that's where I'd really start to question where the
I think that would be the really interesting thing though. Is does anyone debate? You know, let's just say someone has a 1,500 pound total. I don't think anyone debates that. Yes, if you ran like steroids for a year, that
it's going to go up
pretty easily. I mean, most people would say it's safe to assume you should pretty easily be able to add to that total, right?
Right. Yes.
But like
100%.
But because running's also weird in the way that it is so much more of a natural thing.
True.
When I say natural, I mean you just know when you're in school who the kids that were fast, and they were always the fast kids. Is running the same way, where it's like, yeah, you're pretty fast, but do you take steroids and all of a sudden you're really fast? Is that how it works? Or is it like,
I don't know that it works like that, but what I would say is if you're talking about people that are already really fast and then you give them a little steroids and add to their training, it probably I don't know, it probably adds an edge, you know, like
it certainly seems like it should. Yes. I'm just curious if because strength at no doubt can do a lot.
Right. Strength is the easiest one to see but even like, would you think that like swinging a baseball bat, that it really makes you like that much better at hitting home runs?
I don't. But didn't they also say? Okay, I'm not a baseball guy at all, so I'm probably butchering this.
So I actually don't know.
But did they also say part of it with baseball was like the recovery too? Is that because these guys play baseball like every day,
every other day,
sometimes
or
twice a day or whatever?
Yeah, right.
Didn't they say it aided at that part of it? But
that makes sense. But then it's like, so what are? So they were. I mean, I know that is what steroids do, is they help you recover. But then it also walks an interesting line at one point in time. Like if we're like, oh, we're saying it helps you recover, don't do that.
Well, I know,
like, you know, like that's the.
But some guys do
anything but that.
I think,
you know, like
I think
that's cheating, like making you recover better from this grueling sport.
And I think that argument is debated, but we listen to lots of strength podcasts, and there's some guys I still think do take that stand. They're like, well, the steroids don't actually get you stronger. What they do is they just make it so you can hit the gym harder the next day. I'm like, well, Okay,
That's splitting
so do you
hairs
call that
than
recovery,
even
or
what
do you
it-
call that
yeah.
getting stronger when you can just hit the gym hard again the next day?
See, I think that's mostly just splitting hairs.
That's
Let's
what it
say,
feels like
a
to me,
different way
yes.
to explain the same thing. Like
Yeah.
you paint it in a more positive or more negative light, depending on what your stance is on
just
it,
how you want to
honestly.
frame it.
Yeah. Because if you just say like, oh, it's just for recovery, then you're like, well, recovery's good, right? Like, am I not, what, do I want to limit that? So I don't know. We'll stay tuned. Maybe we'll get we could probably get an enhanced game athlete on, and we'll get to the bottom of it.
That'd be pretty cool. I'm gonna talk to my wife's cousin about this. Get his input on here.
He probably knows
actually
about it.
trying to make the Olympics at one point, and he just to make the Olympic team,
Right.
but he was just kind of on the
Right.
cusp of not quite being good enough there. But
Well, he very well. I'm sure if you're in that community, you're aware of this thing going on.
Yeah.
I think so.
yeah,
The
interesting.
enhanced games. More on that later on the Massenomics podcast.
I'm sure a few years from now we'll say,
Yeah.
remember when we brought that up?
And now it's bigger than the Olympics. Not. Now it is not bigger than the Olympics.
They had a 100-meter sprint with 3 competitors, and it never.
And then they didn't pay the people that they said they were going to. Yes. Should we wrap this one up?
Let's do it.
All right, Tommy, where do they find you at?
You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
You can follow me at Tanner_Bear. Just make sure to please follow Massenomics at Massenomics.
See ya.